Game, the referee is Bill McCreary, and the two linesmen Gerard Gauthier and Randy Mitton. And starting in goal for the Buffalo Sabres, Darren Pupa, called up from the Rochester Americans, where he leads the American Hockey League in wins with a total of 31, 2.77 goals against average. Darren Pupa, his last start for Buffalo way back in October in a 5-5 tie against Toronto. At the other end, for the Montreal Canadiens, it'll be Brian Hayward starting with his 35th game of the season with a 2.88 goals against average. And he has won 16, lost 13, and tied 4. Now we are ready to begin play here in the first period with Priestley going to center. Gillies to the left side, Napier on the right side. The backup goaltender tonight for Buffalo is Jacques Cloutier. Tom Barrasso did not dress. The puck comes into the Montreal zone. Now comes back to the Buffalo blue line. Picked off by Napier. Now it comes to Priestley, and it's out into the Montreal zone. Green will go back after it. Works it behind the net. He left it there. Chelios picks it off the pass, but not out. Ramsey keeping it in for Buffalo. Here's Gillies. It'll come back and over the blue line. Servers brings it back to center. Works it right back into the Canadian zone. Chris Chelios in control. Opening seconds of the first period here at the Forum at Montreal. Now McPhee. His pass on the right side. Picked off by Gillies. To the Canadiens line. He'll clear it on in. Green will go back after it. Buffalo makes a player change with the long pass over the line to Skrugland. Stepped away from one and slapped it into the Buffalo zone. And Darren Pupa handles the puck and left it there. Now it comes back for Carboneau. Slapped away. Now Nyland runs into Housley. Here comes to McPhee. The high drive and off the glass behind the Buffalo net. Kept in by Robinson. There's his shot. Went off the leg of Andrechuk. And recovered by Rutu. Over the Buffalo blue line. At center. Back with Foligno. Into the Canadian zone. One hands it around the boards now. Hayward will leave it there. Here's Foligno. In after it. And here's Andrechuk with the drive. And Hayward makes the save. And holds on to that. No score. First minute of play. Sabres hockey on TV2. Face off in the Montreal zone. There's no score. First period action with Robinson in behind the net. Now Ludwig off the boards to Brian Walter, bumped by Anderson. Out gloved down by Bobby Smith, and he sends it on into the Buffalo zone. Arneal getting it over the blue line. Ludwig stops it. Cleared by Lemieux, but it's an offside call at the Buffalo line.
In other games this afternoon, Boston defeated Vancouver 2-1, and Detroit over Philadelphia 5-1 at the Spectrum. That's the first one there for the Red Wings since November of '71, a span of 29 games. Tonight, Pittsburgh at Hartford, Chicago at Quebec. The Nordiques leading, by the way, 3-1 in the first. Edmonton at Toronto. Calgary is at Los Angeles.
Yeah, you look at the games here at the Montreal Forum, Chad. Over the last 11 games, Montreal losing only once, winning 8 and tying 2, and overall 24-9-4. So needless to say, they play well here at the Forum.
Now taken by Mikael Anderson to Sean Anderson. The shot that goes behind the net, and Claude Lemieux down that right side gives it to Bobby Smith. Flips it over for Walter. Blocked by Pupa. Pupa put it right onto the stick. They score! Pupa trying to clear it. And I'm sure that he is rather disgusted with that play behind the Buffalo net. But Jim, what a way to start. And tough luck for Darren Pupa.
Well, tough luck, but Darren Pupa is a kind of a goaltender. He has the utmost confidence in himself, and I don't think that this is going to bother him. But watch what happens. He just does not see the Montreal player, and the puck is cleared in front of the net, and it goes off the skate of Darren Pupa in behind him. And a terrible start for Darren Pupa and the Buffalo Sabres, as that was scored by Claude Lemieux from behind the net. And the Canadiens take the 1-0 lead.
Lemieux gets his 26th goal of the season, and the Canadiens go up 1-0. Now Ramsey giving it to Bridges to the Montreal line. For corner back to Bridges. He's tied up in front of the net. Drayton tried to get it back, and it's cleared over the blue line and back into the Sabres zone. Mike Ramsey will go back to retrieve it for the Sabres. 1-0. Montreal leading in that goal by Lemieux. Here it's picked up by Corson, going in on goal. The pass in front, the score! Richer, all alone to the right of Pupa, had no problem putting that one into an open net. The Canadiens take a 2-0 lead on their first 2 shots on goal.
Oh, you talk about having hands. This is a beautifully executed play. Watch the pass by Corson as the puck bounces off a skate, and he's looking all the way. He puts it right onto the stick, or that puck was knocked out of the air, I should say, by Stéphane Richer, and the Canadiens quickly go ahead 2-0. Now, there's nothing or no way a goaltender can defend against that play. Well executed, and you say, well, that's a lucky play, but a lot of times when you have a great pair of hands and that hand-eye coordination, you can do that on many occasions, just knock the puck out of the air.
And the Canadiens have taken a 2-0 lead before the 3-minute mark of the first period. Housley giving it to Priestley, back into the Montreal line. Stopped, it comes back into the Buffalo zone. Now back with it. Napier, he lost it, comes right back into the Sabres zone. Dykstra going back to get it now. He's playing back in defense with Housley. Dykstra brings it back, sends it over to Housley. Housley up in that left side, off the stick of Napier into the Montreal zone. Green working it back into Buffalo territory, and Housley will go back to get it. Skrugland into forecheck. Housley. Now the pass up on the right side. He sends away Priestley into the Montreal zone. Looks for Gillies. The pass to Napier. Cleared back to the line, over the line. Riki. And they get a whistle with 16:29 to go. And it's 2-0. Montreal leading here in the first period. Sabres hockey and TV2.
March 4th, 8 p.m. Administrative message from Division Headquarters. Extend $1,000 cashback offer from General Motors Corporation. Include all celebrities, 4- and 6-cylinder, all Camaros. Extend $750 on all Cavaliers, all Novas. Extend $500 on all Spectrums. Urgent, consummate all transactions before midnight, March 31st. Repeat stock must be reduced to 30-day level. End of message. Copy all Good Neighbor Chevy dealers.
In Quebec, the Nordiques leading 3-1, but here you're going to see Chicago. Troy Murray on the breakaway takes it in and scores on Malarchuk, and it's 3-2 now. Quebec in the first period.
Now, right here at the Montreal Forum, the Sabres, Ted, are going to have to sort of regroup and gather themselves here, down 2-0. We have 16:20 remaining, a lot of hockey, and the one thing that they have to do is keep themselves mentally under control.
Now Andrechuk into the corner, backhanding it off Hayward. Behind the net, Robinson. Now gives it to Ludwig. He's hit by Foligno, but back comes Bob Gainey with the long pass for Nyland. Broken up by Sean Anderson. He sends it back to center. Now Ludwig. He'll work it back into the Buffalo zone. Riki going back after it. Now gives it to Ruutu. Up it comes to Foligno. At center to the Montreal line. Lost it to Ludwig, and he turns in his own zone. 15:45 left in the first period. 2-0 the Canadiens lead. Carbonneau stopped inside the line and goes to the ice, and here comes Ruutu. Back now with Andrechuk. At center, flipped it through for Mikael Anderson. Taken by Ludwig. Ludwig lost it to Anderson. Now behind the Montreal net. Loose puck at the side. Now back behind the net. Mikael Anderson lost his stick on the play. It's back into the corner. Ryan Walter. He just dropped it back to Robinson. Now it goes into the corner. Claude Lemieux will pick it up, but he's bumped in there by Scott Arniel. Mikael Anderson in after it. Smith comes away with it for Montreal. Sends it to an open side, but it's recovered by Ludwig. Flipped it to center. Now taken by Mikael Anderson. Now Ramsey battling with Lemieux. Along the boards. It's knocked into the Buffalo zone. Curvers around to a waiting Scott Arniel. Now it comes over the line. Lemieux is there to flip it back in. Canadiens get it back onside with Ramsey in control. 2-0. Montreal leading here in the first period. Mikael Anderson trying to leave it for Smith. Tipped it into the Canadian zone. Here goes Arniel to the corner now with Chelios. But he sends it around out to Lemieux. Lemieux over the line to Smith, to Ryan Walter. He'll clear it on into the Sabres zone.
To watch Montreal, Ted, in their own zone. They play their position so very well. Very disciplined. The wingers are on the points, and they don't give up too many scoring chances.
Here they come again. Chelios with Richer. Richer breaks in front of the net. The pass to him, but he could not get his stick down to grab the puck. Out comes to center, Momesso. He is stopped. Here's Napier. Left it for Housley into the Montreal zone. Housley looking, gives it to A backhand drive by Gillies, I believe, and that one off the goal post to the left of Hayward. And back come the Canadiens with Richer. Darting into the Buffalo zone. The pass down for Momesso in front, knocked away and off the glove. Cleared. There's another chance, but Pupa got the glove on that one. Now the Sabres come back at center, but Chelios is there. And the Canadiens are flying tonight. 2-0, they lead. This is Sabres hockey on TV2.
Around here they know my name. Neighbors and friends, not just the person next door. Around here we know our game. Play it to win, 'cause we're keeping score. And our beer around here is OV. OV, my friend. You know our beer around here is OV.
Around here, our beer is OV.
.39 remaining here in this first period.
Ted Sater on the left and Jean Perron on the right. Perron last season became only the 13th coach in NHL history to win the Stanley Cup in his first year.
Sean Anderson fires that one off a stick and up into the crowd behind the Montreal net.
Now, Christian Ruuttu has been picking up a lot of points lately for the Sabres, and here's a situation for a rookie coming into the league, of course, from Finland. 19 goals, 41 assists for 60 points. He's third in rookie scoring, but he had a stage there about a month or so ago where he wasn't playing too well, where he had leveled off. But I think over the last dozen or so games, Christian Ruuttu maybe has been the best and most consistent player for the Buffalo Sabres.
Scoring for Montreal at the 2:10 mark. Lemieux is 26th of the year unassisted. Then 30 seconds later, Richer scored his 19th from Corson and Gingras at 2:40, and it's 2-0. Canadiens lead as the puck is tipped over the glass and into the crowd.
You know, Ted, you look at the record of the Montreal Canadiens as far as goals for and goals against are concerned. They are second for allowing the least number of goals. The Canadiens just allowing 232 goals. Actually, Philadelphia leads in that department, but they have scored less goals than the Buffalo Sabres. So when they are on the top of their game, you're going to see the scores are 3-1, 3-2, that kind of a type of a hockey game, because they cannot win by getting in shootouts with other teams.
Paul Cyr had to get back into the lineup because of a groin injury, and Lee Fogland went back to Edmonton, and he had knee surgery, and he'll be lost to the Sabres for the remainder of the season, but then he should be okay for the start of next year. Here's Carbonneau keeping it in for Montreal. Now behind the net, Ricci will pick it up. Moves it up on the left side to Andrechuk. Now the pass to the line to Sean Anderson. Ahead to Foligno to the Montreal line. There's a long shot. Blast that one off the board. There's Andrechuk keeping it in. A bouncing puck. Clubbed down by Ludwig. Getting it off the boards. Ricci moves in on goal. Unable to get the shot away. And he hacked at it. Now Andrechuk trying to get away from Robinson. Carbonneau. Here's Andrechuk with it. Andrechuk trying to get the shot. He did. Now behind the net. Here's Mikael Anderson to the goal crease. And Andrechuk was tripped up at the side of the net. Here come the Canadiens. As Chris Nyland backhanded behind the Buffalo net. Ricci will take it. He starts to bring it back for the Sabres. At center, getting it off the boards into the Canadian zone to Rick Green. There goes Artie in behind the net. He left it there. Now Smith goes in after it. Smith trying to give it to our Neil Skrudland. Knocked it away. Mats Naslund has it. His pass to the line. Double breaking Skrudland with McPhee. Gives it to McPhee. Back to Skrudland. They go to the corner. And Skrudland was spun around. Ramsey going into the corner. McPhee comes up with the back behind the net to Skrudland. Got Naslund in front. Gives it to him. Naslund in the corner. Puts it right to the goal crease. Knocked away by Pupa. And the puck comes back over the blue line.
Well, that was a good defensive play by Doug Smith as he picked up Skrudland, who was heading to the front of the net. And that prevented that pass from connecting.
Here's Creighton intercepting. Now it goes over to O'Neill with the long shot. Hayward made the save. 11:42 remaining in the first period. 2-0 Montreal leading. They scored early here in the first period. Naslund leading the score for the Canadiens. Tipped it on in. Paul Bridges called back up from the Rochester Americans. Logan going down, and he's playing his first shift tonight as Gingras. Then back to Chelios. Now it comes over to Gingras. Watched by Bridges. Left it there for Chelios behind the net. Now back it comes to Gingras. Head to Bobby Smith, but picked off by Jim Corn with Bridges and Creighton into the Montreal zone. Corn tipped it now for Bridges. It went right through to Brian Hayward. He holds on to that one. That'll force a face-off in the Montreal zone. Brian Hayward, here at the Forum, he's won 13, lost 4, and tied 1. And this is Sabres hockey on TV2.
It's Metzger's semi-annual trade-in sale. Get $100 to $200 off on Lazy Boy furniture when you trade in any old chair. 2 great locations, Orchard Park and Amherst.
Ted Darling with Jim Lorenz, Ed Kilgore at the Forum at Montreal. As you see, 11 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the first period. 2-0 Montreal leading it.
Now, Canadiens getting those 2 early goals. The one, a miscue by Darren Pupa in behind the net, and Lemieux banked it off his skate, and then a well-executed play, Richer picking one out of the air and tipping it in by Pupa. The Buffalo goaltender had no chance on the goal by Richer.
Now Walter getting it to center. Dykstra up to Gillies, but it went over the 2 line. That it's a 2-line pass, and therefore an offside call.
The Sabres, what has plagued them, they've been their inability to score goals. And again, we mentioned the fact that going into that last game, Ted, against Los Angeles, they had something like 25 or 26 good scoring chances and just did not convert them in front of the net.
Well, Jim, in the last 8 games, only twice have the Sabres scored more than 3 goals in a game. Now Gillies getting it to Dykstra. Down goes to Housley. Up to center. He'll flip it into the Montreal zone where it's gloved down by Chelios. Napier's there. Momesso, Gillies trying to clear it in front, and Chelios recovers for Montreal. The pace has slowed down a little bit in the opening 4 or 5 minutes. Here's Housley going in and goal. Oh, and he fired it wide. Housley with a scoring opportunity there, but just missed the goalpost on the stick side of Brian Hayward.
Housley had that upper right-hand corner, and we have a penalty going to the Montreal Canadiens for elbowing. So the Sabres will be awarded the first power play of the hockey game.
Momesso goes to the penalty box, and this is Sabres hockey on TV2.
In a hurry, huh?
What's in back?
Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages, Yellow Pages?
It's Yellow Pages.
It's not the 9X Yellow Pages. And what is it?
It's Yellow Pages.
Why would anyone need another Yellow Pages?
For 100 years, OneHook's always been there when you've needed it. The 9X Yellow Pages. Don't accept substitutes.
Buffalo going to the power play. Momesso goes to the penalty box. He goes for elbowing at 9:31.
Now the Sabres road power play just 16.9%, which is 17th overall, and the Canadiens are 2nd overall in the NHL as far as penalty killing is concerned.
Now route 2 with Greed. Goes to Chelios behind the Montreal net. Andrechuk taking him to the corner. Oh, Chelios came around with a stick, then knocked the stick out of his hands. There's a drive by Smith. Blocked it, comes back to center. Out comes to Foligno. Buffalo on the power play. Foligno giving it to Smith. Over to Housley. Wrap it in around behind the Montreal net. Foligno's there. Into the corner, gets it back now. Comes back to Doug Smith. Here's Smith now. Sending it over to Andrechuk. There's the drive right on. The rebound picked off by Foligno. He gets it back, but it hit a stick. And now we've got Chelios and Foligno going at it behind the Montreal net.
Now that all started in the corner where Chelios actually cross-checked Dave Andrechuk. And the last time that these two teams got together at Memorial Auditorium, right from the first shift until the end of the game, Chelios was looking for a fight. He was very aggressive in that game.
Chelios and Mike Foligno, and they, of course, will go to the penalty box with 1:21 remaining in the penalty to Momesso.
Chelios with 115 minutes in penalty, and he will be adding to that, of course. But born in Chicago, Illinois, 6'1", 185-pounder. And he's strong.
We'll return to the Forum in a moment. This is Sabres hockey on TV2.
March 4th, 8 p.m. Administrative message from Division Headquarters. Extend $1,000 cashback offer from General Motors Corporation. Include all celebrities, 4 and 6 cylinder, all Camaros. Extend $750 on all Cavaliers, all Novas. Extend $500 on all Spectrums. Urgent, consummate all transactions before midnight March 31st. Repeat stock must be reduced to 30-day level. End of message. Copy all Good Neighbor Chevy dealers.
Well, apparently Foligno's picking up an extra 2 for the instigator. That's what we gather here at the Forum.
Now they have it up on the board anyway, so the Canadiens still with 1:21 seconds remaining in the penalty to Momesso. Now here's where it started. Now that was on Andreychuk, where Chelios just slapped the stick out of Andreychuk's hand, and Chelios with a late hit on Foligno, and you know Foligno is not going to stand for that. And the play goes around in behind the net, and Foligno's looking for him. Well, that looked like that was sort of a decision on both players' behalf to drop their gloves and start swinging, but in any event, Foligno is gone for the instigator.
Wow, it's almost as bad as the basketball game this afternoon. Yeah. Syracuse and Providence. I mean, that's a violent game, basketball.
Well, what about wrestling? I mean, they talk about hockey being violent. What about professional wrestling? I mean, you never hear anything about sending the police into a professional wrestling match and putting the wrestlers in handcuffs and taking them and putting them in jail, do you?
No, they know how to fall correctly, though.
Well,
they know how
I
to
guess
take
so.
the falls and how to turn the cheek at the right time so it doesn't hurt.
You know, all the tricks.
Well, now they've taken the 2 minutes off.
Ted,
it'll go on later.
The best way I could understand it here was that Chelios was given 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct, and 5 for fighting. So I guess they washed then.
So the face-off will be inside the Montreal blue line. The Sabres will remain with a man advantage for 1 minute and 21 seconds. The Canadiens lead in this game by 2-0 with 9:50 remaining in the first period.
Now here's a change. Jim Korn playing up front on the power play, and no secret what he's going to do, and that's to park himself in the goal crease area and stand in front of Brian Hayward. But the problem is the Sabre defensemen, they haven't been shooting the puck, and when they do shoot the puck, it has been at the wrong time. So you fight to gain position in front of the goaltender, and if the pointmen don't shoot the puck, then it's all for naught, because you only have seconds in front of that net when you are able to work yourself into the right position.
Now Ruutu and Andreychuk and Korn up in the forward line. Ruutu dropped it back, but it went right between Doug Smith and Housley. Now Housley with it. At center, gets it up in that left side to Andreychuk. He'll dump it into the Montreal zone. There goes Korn into the corner, taken to the boards by Gainey. Kicked out. Here's Andreychuk. Oh, getting it back, but Housley had moved in. And he stayed in position, but he thought perhaps he could move in front of the net and take that pass from Andreychuk. As a result, came all the way back into the Buffalo zone. Andreychuk at center. Now to the Montreal line. Steps in over the line. Had it knocked off his stick. Taken by McPhee. Backhanding it. Gloved down by Housley. Keeps it in along the blue line. Back to Smith. Winding up with the drive. And it's blocked, and Skrugland comes up with it as Korn was taken down in front of the Montreal net. McPhee trips. Gets up. Still has control. Comes back to the line. 28 seconds left in the Buffalo power play. Now McPhee keeping it in. Doing an excellent job up front for Montreal. Now Smith got it, gets it back into behind the net. 16 seconds to go, and the Canadiens will return to full strength.
Now Sabres unable to even get a shot on goal.
Here comes Priestley, the long drive and off the glass. Hayward holds it, squeezes the pads, and the puck is right there beneath his skates.
Well, you can see why the Canadiens are playing so well as of late, as they play that tight defensive checking game, and the fans here in Montreal have grown to appreciate that. They, in the past, have been used to seeing a lot of goals scored by people like Guy Lafleur, but this club that they have here is just a hard-working hockey club, and they win games by perseverance and by playing their positions in their own zone.
With Bob Gainey back in the lineup, Mike McPhee, you see there, is having an excellent last week or so for Montreal. Peter Swoboda's missed the last now 5 games with a hand injury. Face off in the Montreal zone. 4 seconds. Momesso will put Montreal back into full strength. Back to Ramsey. There's the shot, but it's blocked by Carbonneau. That forces Gerber back to the Buffalo line. Now Gainey picks it up. In over the line. Clears it. Ramsey getting it around the board. Stopped by Robinson. Unable to keep the puck inside the blue line. Lawler getting it to Gainey. Out comes to Carbonneau. Back pass. Tipped away by Lawler. Here's Nyland with Ramsey bumping him. It is tipped now for Creighton. Creighton has it. Off the board for Priestley. He'll shoot it to the Montreal zone. Tipped away, and the puck was hit above the shoulder with the stick, so they whistle the play down. 7:56 now remaining here in the first period. 2-0 Montreal leading. With this reminder to Rochester Americans fans watching our game tonight, the Amerks battling Binghamton for first place in the Southern Division. They will play Binghamton tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. at Rochester's War Memorial Auditorium. That's a 2 p.m. start tomorrow, not 7:30 tomorrow evening. Rochester and Binghamton.
Ted Zader trying to get something going, switching his lines around now with Bridges at center, Arneal on the left side, and Mikael Anderson on the right side. And the Sabres have managed just 3 shots on goal. The Canadiens with 6. I don't think we've had a shot on goal here for 5 or 6 minutes.
On the draw, taken by Ricci. The drive did not get through. Kicked over the line. Ricci falls down, gets it into the Montreal zone. Smith leaves it there. Now Ludwig for Lemieux. Up to the Buffalo line with Ryan Walter, but he's stopped along the boards by Ricci. It'll come to Bridges. Bridges tries to knock it in. Picked up by Mikael Anderson into the Montreal zone. Arneal breaking towards the net. The shot blocked. Here's Sean Anderson behind the net. Now Arneal, you try to give it to Bridges. Unable to get it, and the Canadiens come back, led by Ludwig at center. Aaron Pupa plays that rolling puck behind the net, giving it to Arneal. He'll dump it to the line and over the line. Smith. Bridges goes after him. Now Smith holding Paul Bridges' stick. Comes to center. Mikael Anderson shoots it into the Montreal zone. Brian Hayward will leave it, and Buffalo will make a player change. 7 minutes exactly remaining to play here in the first period. Owsley back after it. The Canadiens make a change. Owsley's pass went behind Priestley. Robinson in after it. Now there goes Gingras, gloved away now by Dykstra. And the Canadiens, Robinson, head-manning it to Richer. He is spun around. Pupa left it for Owsley. Now Corson's in there. Pupa laying it around the boards. Corson and Gillies go to the corner. Lamesso's in there. Gillies. Now Richer. 6 of them were after it. Finally, it goes to the far side where Robinson gets it behind the net. Now Owsley trying to get away from Lamesso. Gets help from Priestley. And Owsley delivers it to Dykstra. Now comes to center. Shoots it in off the boards into the Montreal zone. There's Napier. Dykstra will keep it in. He falls to the ice, and the Canadiens will try to come back out of their own zone. Gingras to the line. The pass to Corson, tipped away by. Here's the pass now to Korn. Korn getting it on goal. He's got a break. Shoots. Oh, Hayward makes the save on Ford. There's Rutu behind the net. Rutu puts it to the goal crease, and it comes all the way back into the Buffalo zone. Pupa races into the net. There's an open net. Lamesso get the shot. They go to the far boards, and now back to Gingras with the long drive. But Pupa got it back into the goal crease.
Yeah, that was a race between Pupa and Richer. But sensational goaltending by Brian Hayward at the other end.
Here's Naslund now. Sends it in front. It's tipped away by Curvers into the corner. Now Sprudlin gets it back. But Ludwig to wait for Naslund to come onside. Now he'll clear it on in. 2-0 Montreal leading. 5 minutes remaining to play in period number 1. Curvers with the pass up to Rutu. Left it for Andrechuk at center. Winds up with the long drive, and that was deflected. Taken by Lawler. Giving it to Naslund. Back it comes in now behind the Montreal net. Hayward around the boards. McPhee bump from behind. Taken by Smith. Quick shot. And tipped wide by Andrechuk. Just got the blade of his stick on it as Naslund comes to the Montreal blue line. Now the pass through to McPhee. Got it off Smith. There's McPhee in after it. Right behind the Buffalo net. Lifted up to Mikael Anderson. Will come back to the line. He waits for some help. Left it there for Andrechuk. He's got Smith. 2-on-1 break. Andrechuk going in and goal! Hayward came out and cut down the angle on Andrechuk shot. Now the Canadiens on the attack. Into the Buffalo zone. Pupa way out of the net. Here's Pupa trying to play it. It's into the corner, comes to the side of the net, and now Sean Anderson around for Arneal. At the blue line at center. To the Montreal line. It is tipped by Hayward. Recovered by Robinson. Works it back in behind the Montreal net.
You see Darren Pupa, Ted, after being burned on the first goal, he certainly isn't shy about coming out of the net. He just continues to do so.
Now Ryan Walter to Smith. Bobby Smith into the Buffalo zone with Lemieux and Walter. Here he goes. Right in behind the net. He's pinned to the boards by Ricci. Now Lemieux bumped by Korn. And there's going to be a penalty to Buffalo. 2-0 Montreal leading. This is Sabres hockey on TV2.
You know each other. Yellow Pages, right? Yellow Pages I always use. 9X?
Another Yellow Pages.
Another Yellow Pages. Who needs another Yellow Pages?
Hey, did the yellow truck move? You're blocking my rig.
For 100 years, one book's always been there when you've needed it. The 9X Yellow Pages. Don't accept substitutes.
Darren Pupa adjusting his pads. The Buffalo goal crease.
Tom Curvers is gone to the penalty box for holding. And the Canadiens on the power play. They are ranked 10th overall in the NHL, led by Bobby Smith with 11 power play goals. But you have to watch Gaston Gingras. He plays the point. And you see the penalty in front of Darren Pupa. And you look at the shot clock. I had that wrong before, Ted. The Sabres with 10 shots on goal and the Canadiens with just 3 shots on goal. They scored on the first 2 shots of the game and have only been able to manage 1 since then. Now here's that chance by Jim Korn. Watch Hayward. He just stays with him. Hayward did not budge an inch, and then he stops the rebound. That was a fine piece of goaltending by Brian Hayward. And if any youngsters were watching that, a classic example of standing up and forcing the shooter to make the first move.
Canadiens on the power play. Gingras giving it to Richer. Far side to Smith. Naslund. Robinson. Richer's in front of the net. Over it comes to Gingras. The drive. And Pupa makes the save with an Naslund. Coming up with the rebound. Goes right in front with the drive. And it's blocked. And then Pupa falls on it as Naslund had an opportunity there.
Now, he talked about Gaston Gingras. He has that good shot from the point. He has scored 7 goals, 19 assists, 26 points on the power play. He has a total of 43 points. And Pupa stopped that one and then stopped the rebound as Mats Naslund let it go. And the Canadiens have changed their power play, Ted. Last year they were very fancy. They like to pass the puck around. Now they have gone to just stacking the front of the net and just sort of grinding it out in the corners and along the boards, whereas last year they liked to pass the puck around. Shel Dahlin, of course, a wonderfully skilled player, not in the lineup this evening, but he was very good on the power play last year.
And they're still on the power play. Gingras in and out of Naslund. It comes back to the line. There's a shot, but Mike Ramsey got the blade of his stick on that one. And Arneal dumped it to center, now taken by Ruutu. Ruutu has it, backends it into the Canadian zone. 1 minute 15 seconds remaining on the Montreal power play. They lead 2-0 first period. Ryan Walter leaving it for Bobby Smith. We understand now that Quebec has a 4-2 lead over Chicago. Here comes Naslund right in. He turns. He'll bring it back now to Gingras. Blast. That's wide. Robinson to the far side. Giving it to Naslund. Going in on goal with the shot. He scores. Matt Naslund beat Darren Pupa. Goal number 24 in the season for Naslund. His 10th power play goal. And the Canadiens have gone into a 3-0 lead.
And this is a disadvantage of going down and blocking a shot. Watch Mike Ramsey and watch the reaction of Darren Pupa. He does not see this. As you see it shut up, Naslund letting the wrist shot go to the far corner, and you saw Mike Ramsey go down on his knees. Darren Pupa did not see the puck, and it sailed right into the top corner. A fine shot by Naslund, and a good example of an experienced hockey player knowing that Mike Ramsey is on the ice, that he was going to go down, and taking advantage of that.
And with 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining in the first period, the Sabres fall 3 goals behind the Canadiens. At Quebec now, Picard has scored. This is a goal by Picard to put the Nordiques into a 4-2 lead over Chicago, beating goaltender Bob Sauvé. Now we get back to the action here at the Forum of Montreal. The long drive and the skate save by Hayward. Gilly dumped it behind the net. Housley will go in. Into the corner now. It flipped high into the air. Glove down. A bouncing puck. Hayward still loose. Here's Priestley trying to jam it. He gets to the goal crease. But it's knocked away by the Montreal defense. And now Ludwig. Checked by Gilly. Now Napier comes up with it. Here's Napier working it to Housley. The shot is wide. Priestley will go after to keep it in for Buffalo. Spun around by Skrudland. Napier's there. Glove down by Housley. Trying to get off the boards to Napier. Winds up with the drive right on the rebound. And it comes back and now it's taken by McPhee. And he'll shoot at the length of the ice into the Buffalo zone. Joe Ricci will go back to touch it. Montreal will be called for icing. 1 minute 30 seconds now left here in the first period. 3-0 Canadiens leading.
Joe Ricci has been playing very steadily for the Buffalo Sabres and has been since he was called up from Rochester. And there's a guy that just came out of nowhere. They did not expect him to play for the big team this year. They thought that he would need another year in Rochester, but Ricci has really come along and played well for the Buffalo defense. And the Sabres here with some good opportunities as the puck goes up in the air. Now Hayward unable to find the handle on this, and you'll see Priestley go around behind the net but just unable to convert it. But boy, look at the Canadiens, just good coverage in front of the net. They're seldom out of position, and Buffalo unable to get second and third chances at that puck.
Face off in the Montreal zone now. Ruutu taken to the boards. Here's Robinson over the line at center with Gainey on his left. Pass for Gainey just inside the line. Curvers now tipped it to center. Curvers over to the far. Oh, now we've got Foligno, and here's Foligno and Chris Nyland in it. Well, I think the Canadiens are doing this kind of a job out of Mr. Foligno. He had to go out for 5 minutes before.
That's right. Keep him off the ice. That's for sure. Mike Foligno, one of the few goal-scoring threats that the Sabres do have. And we totally missed that one. We have a blind spot right down below us. And we have to try to lean out over the balcony here at the Forum. And that happened right below us, just to the left of the Buffalo bench.
Well, John Kordic, he is not in the lineup tonight with the return of Bob Gainey, but Kordic says he's 12-0 in fights.
Yeah.
12-0.
Well, he says he's had over 200 fights throughout his professional career. Claims he hasn't lost very many of them. And I would tend to believe him.
Well, with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining in the first period.
And the Sabres once again have dug themselves a hole down here 3-0. Out shooting Montreal 12-6. But the Canadiens just taking advantage of the opportunities. And the Sabres unable to convert theirs. And that has been an all too familiar story. And Ted Sater is trying to figure out some kind of combination that's going to get them some goals.
Face-off coming up now near the center circle. Coming up on the first intermission, Seymour Knox III, the chairman of the board, will be Ed Kilgore's guest. That'll be in the first intermission. Live here from the Forum of Montreal. 1 minute remaining to play in the first period. Ruutu tipped to the Montreal line. Now picked out by Gainey. He just sends it back in. Gives it to Lawler. Check from behind by Ruutu. Gainey now. Being watched by Korn with 42 seconds left in the period. Lawler brings it back for the Canadiens at center. He'll tip it on into the Buffalo zone. Smith moving in there. Naslund behind the net. Naslund trying to get away from Doug Smith. Now Curvers is there. Harbonneau. Korn. 24 seconds to go. Korn trying to clear it. Now it looks like there's a penalty coming up here. They go to the Montreal. Now Korn. They have a shot at Gainey.
Korn, I believe the initial call is going to Carbonneau, but the Sabres were fortunate on this one because Korn could have also been assessed a penalty. As you mentioned, Ted, he took a swing at Bob Gainey just as the whistle blew. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Carbonneau. It is going to the penalty box.
That means Buffalo will continue on into the power play in the second period, unless, of course, they can score. There's only 19 seconds remaining here in the first period. Canadiens have been very successful here against Buffalo this season, winning by scores of 5-2, 4-2, and 4-2. Here it is now. Smith and Naslund, first of all.
You see Naslund. No, maybe we don't see it. Well, there it is. Okay, Naslund or Carbonneau on Jim Korn. Well, I don't know. Wasn't much of a scuffle that we watched on the replay, but in any event, Carbonneau was sent to the penalty box. I thought Korn was going for sure, though, as he took a swing at Bob Gainey.
Sabres go to their second power play. Now Creighton dropping it back. 15 seconds remaining of the period. Housley steps to center, sends it over now to Napier into the Montreal zone. Napier, 8 seconds to go. They've got to get a shot away right to the goal crease and knock to the far side, and Gainey just tips it into the Buffalo zone, and the siren goes to end period number 1. Shots on goal, Buffalo 12, Montreal 6. Coming up in this first intermission, Seymour Knox III, the chairman of the board for the Buffalo Sabres, will be talking to Ed Kilgore. So the score after 1 period of play, the Montreal Canadiens 3, the Buffalo Sabres nothing.
This is the Sabre Station, WGRZ TV2, Buffalo.
Our people make the difference at Monroe.
Specialist. That about sums up Joe Capon. He came to Monroe Muffler Brake a dozen years ago, and today over 200 customers every week trust their cars to Joe and his Monroe team for expert attention and care. Getting the best price is only half the story at Monroe.
Our people make the difference.
People like Joe Capon.
At Monroe.
Fuss with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? Tote 2 bottles into the shower to wash my hair? Not me. I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can, with something new. Now you're thinking, Pert? That's not new, but it is. Now it's Pert Plus, and it's changed, really changed, because new Pert Plus is complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in 1 bottle. There's never been anything quite like it. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. I love when my hair looks this great, but not if I have to fuss to get it that way. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I get everything I need for great-looking hair in 1 bottle. So I can just wash and go. Like now. Gotta run.
New Pert Plus. Shampoo plus complete conditioner in 1 for great-looking hair with no fuss. So you can just wash and go.
What took you so long?
I was doing cocaine for a little while, and that just felt like nothing. I have to spend a couple $100 a night, and so I don't even feel high, you know?
Ignore the problem of teenage drug abuse and it won't disappear, but your child might. Or you can learn how to deal with the dangers of substance abuse by watching Kids and Drugs, A High Price to Pay, a special presentation of TV2 that parents and children will want to watch together for kids' sake. Sunday at 7.
After 1 period here in Montreal, the Sabres trailing the Montreal Canadiens 3-0 despite outshooting the Habs 12-6. And with me is the chairman of the board of the Buffalo Sabres and the chief executive officer, Seymour Knox III. And Seymour, 3-0 after 1. It's kind of unfair to make you come on and talk about this game. I know a little disappointing. The Sabres had their chances, and the young goaltender, Darren Pupa, got a little, maybe he was a little nervous, kind of a bad first goal, and that's the way it's going.
Well, that's what it looked like, Ed, to me. But on the other hand, we've had the better of the play, I think. They've had not as many opportunities as we've had, and 3 shots on goal, 3 goals. What can you do?
Well, I know it's a little frustrating, especially when you consider the long haul. You were 18 points behind Quebec at one time. You caught up, and it looked like the Sabres had the momentum, and then, boom, it just seemed to go in reverse.
Well, it seemed as the team, once they got to that point of being tied, why, then they seemed to let up, some psychologically speaking, perhaps. And then we got hit with a raft of injuries, and I think that's come into the picture as well.
That it has. Seymour, might as well get to the most crucial question I suppose the fans watching might be concerned about, and that is the state of the franchise. The attendance is down a little bit this year, maybe 1,000 over last year. What is the current situation as far as you're concerned? I'm sure you'd like it better, but
Well, Ed, we're delighted, frankly, with the support that we've received this year. It's been very gratifying, and the fact that the team has come back and responded so well to the changes that were made back in November, December, has been very, very heartwarming. And I think the city is behind the team now, coming into the very end of the season. And we're very excited and very pleased the way it's worked out. Even if we don't make the playoffs, it's been a great turnaround for us, and it augurs very well for the future. We're very confident we're on the right track right now.
Well, I was just going to ask you about the future. Now, this will be, barring a minor miracle, the second year you haven't reached the playoffs. I know revenues-wise that hurts. How about the future, though? Is the franchise solid in Buffalo? We keep hearing these rumors floating around all the time.
I think the solid franchise situation in Buffalo is as it's always been. We've never had any difficulties financially speaking, and we're never going to, I hope, ever move the franchise or sell it. We're here to stay, and I think that the fans should know that. I've said that many times, and I have no problems with that on the air here tonight, telling anybody who wants to know that that's the story.
Change in direction this year. Scotty Bowman was around. He is gone now. Jerry Meehan has taken over. Was it a difficult decision for you with Jerry Meehan having no experience? I know he was the acting general manager. What exactly speeded up the process of naming him the general manager?
Well, keep in mind that he'd had a good legal background, and that's what a general manager needs these days, to be able to deal with the players, with their contracts and that kind of thing. You need a business experience and a legal background, and we have that combination in Jerry Meehan. Just the right age, he learned his earned his spurs working under Scotty Bowman, and of course that was a good man to learn from. He is still one of the great people in hockey, and did a good job for us in many other ways. But Scotty didn't do it at the very end, and obviously we had to make some changes because the record spoke for itself at that time, and Jerry Meehan is right on board, and he's stepping right in, doing a good job for us.
In hindsight, Seymour, and I suppose we all would love to have the advantage of that, would you think that one job, both general manager and coach, might be too much for any individual, not just Scotty Bowman, but in the end, do you think that was one of the problems?
Perhaps that was one of the problems. Scotty was an indefatigable worker. He always has done that, been known for that. Did that for us and did it for Montreal and St. Louis, of course, as well. But I think the job of being general manager today is so complicated that you really can't have two jobs now. And so they really should be divided. And I think that's being realized more and more by every team in the National Hockey League.
Were you a little surprised when Jerry went out and hired Ted Sater? Ted had a little negative publicity in New York. Did that give you a couple of goosebumps, maybe?
Not really, because we discussed that at great length before the decision was finally made. It was Ted's decision, but we knew what he was getting into, knew about Ted's background, knew about his experiences in New York and Philadelphia. And Jerry did his homework before he made the recommendation to us that he was thinking of moving in that direction. And we heard the whole story. We encouraged him to go ahead and do it, and I think that was the right move. And it's going to pay off very, very well for us.
Seymour, thanks for coming by. And again, I know it's tough to make you come in here when it's 3-0, but who knows? Maybe the Sabres will get some goals, and it'll be interesting before the night's over.
Thanks, Ed. It's been a pleasure, and thanks for the job that WGR-TV has done for us all year long. It's been a great season for you and for us.
Thank you, Seymour. All right, Seymour Knox, and we're in the first intermission here in Montreal, and we'll be back right after this.
Guests on Sabres Hockey received this Sony 2-inch Watchman TV from Burnham's, Sony headquarters for TVs and VCRs with lifetime service and a free 5-year guarantee. Or a gift from Helbros, the new tradition in time. See Helbros quartz watches at leading stores and catalog showrooms.
Around here they know my name. Neighbors and friends, not just the person next door. Around here we know our game. Play it to win, 'cause we're keeping score. And our beer around here is OB, my friend. You know our beer around here is OB.
Around here, our beer is OV.
Remember the thrill of your first great catch. In 40 years, we at Cooper haven't forgotten either. That's why we're always improving our gloves with stronger lacing and leathers that need no breaking in. Many treated with our exclusive grabber finish for extra grab when you need it. Your first choice was a Cooper, and today it still is. Catch your first choice in ball gloves. Catch up to Cooper.
This new Center 2 capsule is brought to you by Smith Boys Marine, where you can see all the latest Mercruiser-powered Sea Ray boats now on display.
From News Center 2, here's Mike Andre.
A retired security chief is charged with sexually abusing more than a dozen teenage boys. Hamburg police say 50-year-old Robert Teichman allegedly paid the youths to participate in various sexual acts with him. He'll be arraigned tomorrow. Meanwhile, Buffalo police say a man whose body was found floating at the foot of Porter Avenue was murdered. Florida authorities are looking for a missing Orchard Park man, and it's no smoking in the odd. Now here's Wayne with a look at the weather.
A rather nice evening going outside with partly cloudy skies. And yes, tomorrow is going to be a nice day also after the fog burns off with sunshine and temperatures into the low 60s before these clouds to my west bring some showers for Monday. As far as temperatures go outside right now, quite a range. The fog has rolled into downtown Buffalo, 41 degrees, 39 and foggy in Erie, but away from the lake, it's rather nice. 55 still in Jamestown, a 48 up in Toronto, and of course all the complete weather details tonight at 11. Mike?
Thanks, Wayne. We'll have all the news and sports also after the hockey game.
Sometimes your new dream boat can turn out to be a nightmare. So before you buy a boat, ask people who own boats. You'll find that more people have great things to say about Sea Ray. Sea Ray builds them strong and safe, yet graceful and beautiful. And every Sea Ray is inspected 200 times. It makes sense to start out with a Sea Ray. In fact, if it isn't a Sea Ray, you missed the boat.
See all the latest Mercruiser-powered Sea Rays now on display at Smith Boys.
The game Monopoly has come to life at McDonald's. Win a McDLT, Coca-Cola, or $1 million. Collect St. Charles Place, States and Virginia Avenues, and win a dream vacation. Collect these for a $250,000 home. Hello. Over $40 million in cash and prizes. Collect the right game pieces or win instantly. So play Monopoly. Do not pass go. Go directly to McDonald's.
Want your money's worth and more? Buy your next certificate of deposit or IRA at Citibank. Citibank is paying a 0.25% interest bonus on top of our regular rates for 9-month and 6-year CDs. That's a 1.25% rate bonus on 9-month and 6-year CDs and IRAs, and it's only at Citibank. Look for your bonus coupon in Sunday's paper, then come to Citibank. You'll get your money's worth and more.
First period highlights brought to you by Delta Sonic, where you can get any grade of gas with class, plus a great car wash.
Sabres outshot the Canadiens 12-6 in the first period, but the scoreboard says Montreal 3-0, and it's almost indicative of the way things have been going for the Sabres, Jim. They didn't play that badly, and yet they're almost out of the game.
No, they outplayed Montreal. I don't think there's any question. And, you know, someone like myself who has been in this situation before, it's extremely frustrating, but it goes like this. And I don't mean to make excuses, but it is a fact in professional sports where you have cycles. You go in cycles where just everything you touch just turns to dirt and instead of gold, as it should.
Well, you put that maybe more nicely than I would have, Jim. Anyway, the tough luck of the game. Here's Darren Pupa.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Darren simply did not see Claude Lemieux in behind the net, and you'll see it from a different angle as he backhands a puck. And watch his right toe. The puck will hit his right toe and go into the net behind him as he desperately tries to get back in the net. And what can you say? I mean, the Canadiens scored early. It's not like Darren Pupa has professional experience, and I knew that he wasn't going to fall apart. And even though I think the Canadiens ended up scoring 30 seconds later, but I don't think that goal affected him at all, because you could see him later in the period. He kept continually coming out of the net and handling the puck, and that's a good sign.
That goal you're talking about by Richer was on a fine play. That came just 30 seconds later at 2:40.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do on this one either. Now, no goalie in the league is going to stop this as the Canadiens get a break. And the puck is up in the air. Look at this. It's just fluttering through the air. And Richer, going towards the net, just kept his eye on the puck and knocked it out of the air behind Darren Pupa. Here's a better look at it, and you see Pupa just unable to recover, and the Sabres were perhaps a little bit lax in the sense that they didn't have anyone back there, but they felt that the play was going to be moved across the blue line, and it simply wasn't.
And then Mats Naslund on the power play at 17:30, and that made it 3-0.
This is a well-executed play. Naslund, you're going to see a left-handed shot being on the off wing. Now watch Mike Ramsey will go down on his right knee, and Pupa doesn't see the shot. He Mike Ramsey and Darren Pupa were looking at each other after the goal, and Mike Ramsey was sort of saying to him, I know I shouldn't have gone down, but Pupa was screened on that.
So 3-0 Montreal after one. We'll have the second period right after this.
If your car's running rough or not getting peak performance, then it's time for 89 Octane Unleaded Plus, only from Delta Sonic. Unleaded Plus is a blend of pure premium with unleaded. It'll give your car better mileage, and it's priced low, too. Probably less than what you're paying now for 87 Octane. Get gas with class at Delta Sonic, and kiss high prices goodbye.
Around here they know my name. Neighbors and friends, not just the person next door. Around here we know our game. Play it to win, 'cause we're keeping score. And our beer around here is OV. OV, my friend. You know our beer around here is OV.
Around here, our beer is OV.
This portion of Buffalo Sabres hockey is brought to you by your Good Neighbor Chevy dealers, where you get more than you bargained for. And by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
Montreal Canadiens hold on to a 3-0 lead over the Buffalo Sabres. Tonight's Buffalo Sabres telecast is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any rebroadcast without the express written permission of WGRZ-TV and the Buffalo Sabres is prohibited. Sabres go to the power play to start the second period for 1 minute and 41 seconds. 12-6. Montreal out shooting Buffalo in the first 20 minutes of play. Play is underway now to start the second period. Cleared into the Canadian zone. Gady getting it back now for Green. Gainey up on that right side. Ramsey there to try to keep it in for Buffalo. Hayward left it for Chelios. Round the boards, cut off by Ramsey. Swings it over to Curvers. Gets it on into the side of the net to Napier. He flipped it to an open corner. Now Priestley will try to go after it. Here's Corson clearing it over the line and back to the Buffalo zone. 1:05 remaining of the power play. Curvers back after it. Starts to bring it back now for the Sabres at center. Backhanding it into the Montreal zone. Chelios in behind the net, being chased by Rutu. Momesso will just flip it on to McPhee, rather. Clear it back into the Buffalo zone. Now Pupa leaves it there for Mike Ramsey. 44 seconds left in the power play. They'll try it again. Trying to get on the scoreboard here early in the second period. And it's knocked high over the glass by Green. Now we're going to go to Quebec now. Sutter has scored for the Chicago Blackhawks, and it's a 4-3 score in favor of Quebec. And the Nordiques having trouble clearing it. And here's the drive. The pass to the far side. Sutter tipped it in by Malarchuk, and it's a 4-3 score. Quebec leading. That's in the second period of play at the Coliseum at Quebec City. 36 seconds left in the power play for Buffalo. Face off in the Montreal zone. Number 27, you see, wearing that face guard is Shane Corson. He was involved in a fight a while ago, broke his jaw. Now wearing a protective mask. With 22 seconds left in the power play. Smith will carry it to the Montreal line. Getting it in off the corner, but Chelios is there all by himself. Fires it back into the Buffalo zone. Now Housley as Montreal makes a change in the penalty killing unit. Now to the Montreal line. In over the line with Andrechuk. Here's Gillies. In now for Rutu. Rutu into the corner. It's blocked. Housley's in deep. Now Bobby Smith comes away with it for Montreal, and the Canadiens are back at full strength, and Buffalo going 0 for 2 in the power play. Off of the left side now. Lemieux drops it back to Bobby Smith and over the Buffalo line. Smith trying to get through. Comes to Andrechuk at center. Winds up with the long drive. Now Chelios. Buffalo making a change. Here's Arneal in against Chelios. Ludwig. Ryan Walter coming back with Bobby Smith and Lemieux. The pass to Smith. He'll clear it out into the Buffalo zone. Ricci. Lemieux going after him. Up for Arneal, but it comes over the line. Robinson just dropped it back into to Ludwig. He'll flip it off the boards and out of Ryan Walter. Ricci. Watched by Bobby Smith. Now Sean Anderson. Pushes it ahead to Mikael Anderson. Back to Sean. Over the line. At center to the Montreal line. Here they go. The Sabres deep into the Montreal. Arneal shooting. Hayward makes the save as Arneal fired it right into the stomach of Hayward. Sabres hockey on TV2.
True Value hardware stores are opening up some big values for you with their Hardware Week circular. Like this powerful Master Mechanic 7¼ circular saw for just $37.99. You'll have the right fastener for almost any project with the 1,800-piece nail center, only $5.99. Light up a backyard with this 300-watt quartz floodlight, just $10.44. And keep the ever-ready Commander fluorescent lantern handy. It's only $8.99 at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
In Quebec, Chicago trailing 4-3, and Peter Stastny will score for the Quebec Nordiques to make it 5-3. And here you see that goal coming up as Stastny scores here, beating Bob Sauvé, and it's 5-3 Nordiques in the second period.
Face off of the Montreal zone with Priestley in between Gillies and Napier. Napier into the corner, works to the back. Bamesso to Richer at center. Into the Buffalo zone, and he took a check from Ramsey and went to the ice. Now Gillies, the pass too far for Napier. Lawler will go back after it. Off the boards, Ramsey attempted to keep it in. Priestley's there. Off the boards now to Gillies. Gillies giving it to Ramsey into the Montreal zone. He was checked off a glove, kept inside the line now by Napier. Napier flipped it into the corner. Gillies in there. Trying to work it back, lost it to Richer. And Italy gives it to Green.
You know, one thing the Canadiens do so well in their own zone, watch how well they use the defensemen, both the defense partners and the forwards. And you saw it another example there with the forward dropping the puck off to the defenseman.
Now Napier behind the net to Priestley. Try to jam it in the short side. Stop. Green takes Priestley to the boards. And here's Napier putting it to the goal crease. He is checked. And the Canadiens come away with it. Richer didn't see the pass. Now Dykstra works to the back end. Corson ran into Napier. Now Dykstra shoving Corson. Corson's wearing that protective face mask.
Now Dykstra, I think, was concerned about Corson going after Mark Napier. And he ended up grabbing the Canadian player and making sure he wasn't going to get up and do anything.
For the Buffalo Sabres, playoff tickets will go on sale on Friday, April the 3rd at 9 a.m. That's for the general public. That's playoff tickets Friday, April the 3rd at 9 a.m. Season ticket holders had until yesterday to pick up their playoff tickets. So 5 yesterday. So now it's open to the general public coming up on April the 3rd at 9 a.m. 15:57 remaining here in the second period at the Forum of Montreal.
Just one penalty being called, that going to Dykstra. Housley's questioning McCreary about that, but I think that was a fair call, as Dykstra definitely went after Corson. And so the Canadiens, with one power play already, leading 3-1, will try it again. From the Sabres standpoint, down 3-0 at a period really that you outplayed your opposition. That has to be something to build on. And I'm sure Ted Sater said, look, just keep playing the same way, and sooner or later the puck is going to start going into the net for you. And that's the only solution when you get into a rut like this, is just hard work. It's the only way to get yourself out of a scoring slumps. And everybody seems to be in a slump at the same time as far as putting the puck into the net.
Route 2, Ramsey, Anderson, and Foligno. Canadiens go to the power play, and this is their second power play of the game. Anderson will bring it back into his own zone. Try to eat up the seconds in the penalty clock. Now slaps it to Canadiens territory. Hayward, Robinson, Ruutu in forechecking. It'll come to Gingras. Now the pass to the line to a breaking Mats Naslund into the Buffalo zone. Puts on that burst of speed. Brings it back to the left point. Works it along the blue line. Sends it over. Gingras drive. Deflected wide by Lemieux. Robinson being chased by Ruutu. It'll come over to Gingras. It'll put off Naslund. He's back to pick it up. With 1:20 remaining of the Montreal power play, they come back to the Buffalo line. Naslund slipping the puck into the corner. Lemieux's in after it. Takes a check from Ramsey. Left it there. Bobby Smith into the corner. Ramsey after him. Now Naslund. Gets it back to Lemieux. He'll wind up. Gives it to Bobby Smith. Back to Lemieux. Blocked. And Foligno carries it back over the blue line. Comes to center. Still with it. Now sends it out into the Montreal zone with 48 seconds left in the power play.
Well, the Sabres have to be thinking offensively. Even though they are a man short, they need a goal to get back in this game. And we've said it many times. You can often catch a team that is on the power play napping back there.
Robinson to the line. Will clear it on in. Pupa will play it, but he hit Richer with it. Oh, Richer almost put it in off the right pad of Pupa, but it hit the goalpost. Naslund keeping it in. Here he comes. Trying to move in on goal. Back to Gingras. The pass to the far side went wide. Back now to Robinson into the corner. 18 seconds left in the power play. Ryan Walter moves in. He's got Gingras. Gives it to Robinson. Right side to Naslund. Back now to Robinson. Let it go to Gingras with the drive. Deflected loose puck at the side of the net. Canadiens keep it in. It's in behind the net. Many of the fans have thought the puck had gone in, but it had hit the back of the mesh. And it's cleared into the Canadian zone, and Buffalo comes back to full strength with the return of Dykstra. 0 for 2 for Montreal on the power play.
Good job by the Buffalo defense. Was watching in front of the net, and Darren Pupa had plenty of room to move around and move out and challenge on that power play.
Now Ricci hit by Gainey, but the puck comes back to center. Here's Green's pass through to Carbonneau. Ricci trying to get Gainey. Now picked off by Arneal. To the Montreal line. Just gets it inside the line. Then it comes back to center. Ramsey shoots it in off the stick of Green. Napier chasing Green behind the net. Round the glass it goes. Nyland. Now it's slapped in, knocked out by Bridges. That can't get it. Here's Napier going in on goal in the backhand. Unable to get the shot. Arneal's in there as well. Napier knocked down from behind. Here's Napier knocked down again. He gets up with Chelios after him. It'll come around to Nyland. Chris Nyland for Montreal. At center to the Buffalo line. And Bridges has it and shoots it to center to the Montreal line. There goes Foligno after Green in the far boards. Now Gainey's pass. Chelios cleared off the skate of Ramsey to the Buffalo zone. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining to play in the second period. Curvers over the line with a pass now to Ruutu. Ruutu will dump it in, and Andrechuk goes in against Lawler into the corner. Now Foligno's there. But the Canadiens coming back. Lawler's pass to Richer. Quickly into the Buffalo zone. Momesso in front of the net. The pass, and Pupa made a fine save there right in the goal crease. Momesso back in now behind the net to Richer. Bumped from behind by Dykstra. It's tipped to Momesso off the skate of Corson. Andrechuk with the pass for Housley. Here he comes with Ruutu on the left. Foligno's trailing. Housley into the Montreal zone. Ruutu still with it. Gave it to Andrechuk. Puts it to the side of the net. Housley's there. Lawler takes it away. Now to center ice for Lawler. Gillies slaps it back and rolls it into the Montreal zone. Robinson, 14 shots for Buffalo and a total of 9 for the Canadiens. Corson will work it back into the Sabres zone. Ricci now takes it with 11:25 remaining here in the second period. John Anderson tied up by 2 Canadiens. Now it comes to Priestley. Off the boards. Gillies can't get to it. Robinson comes up with it. Gives it now to Max Naslund to the Buffalo line with Skrudland. Here's Skrudland after it. Goes to McPhee with a drive wide. A rolling puck now taken by Skrudland. Gets it behind the net to McPhee. Here's McPhee. Sending it to the other corner for Naslund. Lost it, and here's Gillies' pass. It went off Napier. Gingras.
The Canadiens really working Buffalo in that Buffalo zone. Montreal's so quick. They get on top of you, and they generally take the body. And when this is the way they won the Stanley Cup last year, by playing this brand of hockey.
Now Mikael Anderson leaving it. Maybe they're getting back on the roll again.
Well, they certainly are. I think in the last 5 games, they have only allowed something like 12 goals. They've scored 22 or 23.
Undefeated in their last 5 games. Arneal stopped at the Montreal line. Curver.
You see when Buffalo, and every time they pick the puck up, there's somebody on them, and that is so difficult to play when you're being constantly pressured like that.
Now Lawler for the corner. Smith will go in against Green. Gets it back to the other corner. Lemieux is there. He tries to clear it. Stopped by Arneal. Now Green. Up it comes to Bobby Smith. Lemieux to the Buffalo line. There's the shot. And Pupa will play it to the far boards. Ryan Walter trying to give it to Bobby Smith. Coming back for the now Buffalo. Trying to get a break. A 3-on-2. Here's Creighton in over the line. Goes after it to the corner. Now Smith coming in trailing, but could not get it. And Chelios takes over. Rubbed away by Dykstra. Taken by Korn, but it's whistled down. A hand pass. 3-0 Montreal. This is Sabres hockey on TV2.
Now Chevrolet announces even more of a good thing, extending its cash-back offer on the best protected cars in its history. $1,000 back on all new Celebrities, $1,000 back on all Camaros, $750 cash back on all Cavaliers, and $750 on all Novas. That's even more reason to listen to your heartbeat.
Chevrolet.
9 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here in the second period. 3-0 Montreal leading. Gingras sends it into the Buffalo zone. Now Momesso right in front, kicked out of backhand drive by Richer to hit his skate. Dykstra getting it off the board. Chelios gloving it down. Can't keep it in. It comes back to center. Korn up to the Montreal line. He will clear it. And it's Gingras will take over for the Canadiens. Bridges is now out of back. Comes to the point to Dykstra. Long drive and off the glass. Momesso ahead, but Housley's there. He works it over to Foligno. Back into the Montreal zone. He tried to get it through to Bridges. Momesso recovers. Now Foligno shoots it right back in. Locked it off the back of the referee, Bill McCreary. Canadiens make a change. Nyland has it at center. He gives it down to Momesso. Intercepted by Andrechuk. Comes back to center. Rutu's there at Island. To Carbonneau. Now to Andrechuk. Stopped to Nyland. Has it for the Canadiens. Dropped it into Ludwig. Flips it to the center ice area. Ricci can't. Now here comes. Now Ludwig going in, waiting for some help. He dropped it back. Carbonneau goes after it. Onto the stick of Sean Anderson. With Foligno on his right. Andrechuk on the left to the Montreal line. A drop pass now to Rutu. There's the shot block. Now Foligno. Ahead it comes to Carbonneau. At center. Still with it to the Buffalo line. Trying to get around. He's knocked out. Sabres come back. Sean Anderson to the Montreal zone. Clearing it in. And the fans wanted a penalty on the Sabres as Nyland takes over.
Now that was a pretty good defensive play. The fans are wrong on that one. Just Buffalo, the good defensive play back in their zone. But the Canadiens again could continue to check ferociously.
Here's a shot by Curvers, blocked. And Carbonneau with 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining to play in the second period. Pupa leaving it now for Mike Ramsey. Quick pass up the center to Gillies. Over now to Priestley. Lost it to Naslund. Little speedster brings it back to his own line and left it there for Green. Head to McPhee off his stick. Here's Priestley firing it back into the Montreal zone. There goes Gillies in behind the net, but it's played by Hayward to the corner. Napier in there. Gillies is there as well. Here's Gillies getting it back into the corner, but Lawler takes over for the Canadiens for McPhee. Down that left side at center. Shooting it in. And Ramsey to the corner. Getting it off the glass. Gillies. He can't clear it. Naslund comes up with it. Now it comes over the line. He's being chased by Mike Ramsey. Now it's out into the Buffalo zone. Pupa will leave it for Tom Kurvers. 3-0 Montreal leading. Sabres have yet to beat Brian Hayward. Now Skrugland and Green. Naslund at his own line with the pass. Skrugland, he just dropped it back. Gives it to Lawler. He'll tip it high into the air. And to Pupa. Now giving it to Housley. Housley's pass up to Smith. Lost it. Here comes Bobby Smith over the line. He shoots. That will go wide. Arneal getting it off the boards now for Doug Smith. Up to the Montreal line with Mikael Anderson. Smith waiting for help. Lets the shot go. Kicked away by Hayward. Here's Mikael Anderson. With it now. Dropped it in for Doug Smith. The pass in front comes back to Mikael Anderson. Left it there for Dykstra. The shot. Gloved by Hayward. 3-0 Canadiens lead. Sabres hockey on TV2.
A great name in beer should be the start of a truly great tasting light beer. But it took more than a heritage of taste. It took time to get it just right. Now it's here, introducing OV Light. With the great OV taste you'd expect from a fine brewing tradition. New OV Light. A great taste in beer comes to light.
Montreal 3, Buffalo nothing. 5:48 remaining here in the second period.
Oh, not too many scoring chances in this game. There have been a total of 25 shots. Buffalo with 15. The Canadiens with 10, but only a handful of what you would call quality scoring chances. Of course, the Canadiens have converted 3 of theirs. And the Sabres still looking for the first one.
Here's Dykstra shooting. Deflected. Ruutu shoots. Hayward had it somewhere. He didn't even know he had it underneath the crook of his right arm. Sabres hockey on TV2.
Every 34 seconds, somebody buys a new Chevy Cavalier. Some for its front drive. Some for the quality of its fit and finish. Some just for the fuel-injected fun of it. But every 34 seconds, somebody makes a very smart choice. In fact, before this day is through, over 1,000 people will drive away in new Cavaliers. There goes another one.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
On the draw in the Montreal zone now with Foligno cleared. Here goes Dykstra. Keeps it in now for Buffalo. Sends it towards the net, but Robinson blocked it. He feeds it to the right side for Carbonneau. Stopped by Dykstra. Well, Carbonneau in there. They could get into it. Dykstra and Carbonneau. Here's Dykstra. Now Ruutu at center. Out of the Montreal line. Sends it in. Ruutu trying to get around Ludwig. Gainey, the veteran, clearing it back into the Buffalo zone. And Dykstra working it to the line. Gives it to Andreychuk. At center, Andreychuk gets away from Carbonneau. Brings it to the Montreal line. There's the shot. It'll come back now to Ricci. He'll keep it in for Buffalo. An island. Now Robinson.
Boy, Andreychuk surprised Hayward with that shot, Ted. He didn't move until that puck hit the backboards. And if Andreychuk would have been able to hit the net with it, it would have been in the corner.
Out comes back into the Buffalo zone, and the Canadiens are called for icing. You're watching Sabres hockey on TV2.
True Value hardware stores are opening up some big values for you with their Hardware Week circular. Choose a bow rake, dirt shovel, or garden hoe for just $3.49 each. A pack of 2 GE fluorescent tubes is only $2.29, less a $1 mail-in rebate. Choose a 50-pack of 13-gallon or a 40-pack of 26-gallon True Value trash bags for just $2.49 each. And get a 9-ounce can of WD-40 lubricant for only $1.29 at participating True Value hardware stores.
4:42 remaining. Amen. Normally seen at this time at NBC can be seen tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. right here on TV2. Face off in the Canadian zone. Bridges now against Corson. Now Corson is told to leave, and it'll be Stéphane Richer. And on that draw, Green. Now for Corson, but he's stopped there by Ricci. Green. Round it'll go. And back into the Buffalo zone. Sean Anderson will go back to get it for Buffalo. And the Sabres still looking for their first goal of the game here against this Montreal Canadiens club.
As we mentioned, Ted, the Canadiens second overall in goals against. They don't score a whole lot, but they are very adept at keeping it out of their own net. And you can see why here this evening. They have not given the Sabres very much.
Now Korn. He tried to clear it, but it hit a leg. Now taken by Bridges. Drayton will have to go back after it. Momesso sends it out into the Buffalo zone. Ricci. Now the pass over the line. Hits Korn with it. Comes to the Montreal line. In against Green. Goes to the corner. And Green comes away with it for the Canadiens. And it goes to Corson. He shoots it back into the Buffalo zone. Now Pupa leaving it for Mike Ramsey. Up it comes to Gillies. Up over the Buffalo blue line. Taken by Ramsey. He'll tip it high into the air. Back into the Canadian zone. Brian Hayward, by the way, recorded his first National Hockey League shutout against the Buffalo Sabres. A 6-0 victory. Here's Ramsey back at the blue line. Now Ramsey's pass up to Gillies over the Montreal line. Clearing it in, Gingras. Taking control for the Canadiens and brings it back over the line at center. Now to the Buffalo line, moving with Skrugland. Tipped away by Priestley. There's going to be a penalty coming up here. It'll go to the Sabres. This is Sabres hockey on TV2.
Blowing at today's Chevrolet. Corsica, the smoothest Chevrolet sedan ever built.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Big Clark Gillies goes for interference. And we'll watch the Canadiens as they will go back on the power play. You see it right at the top of the screen on the left. He had a hold of Mats Naslund.
17:05, the time of the penalty. Canadiens go to their third power play with a face-off inside the Buffalo blue line. Sabres have had 5 shots in this period. The Canadiens have 4. On the draw, it's taken by Chelios. He tipped it, but now Scott Arniel is there to move it back into the Montreal zone. One thing the Canadiens have been doing tonight, Jim, they've cut off all avenues for the Sabres offensively moving into the Montreal zone.
I think relentless would be an apt description. The Canadiens, as I mentioned, every time the Sabres pick up the puck, there's somebody on them. And Montreal also in their own zone, I think, have been almost perfect. So impressed with the way the defense works with his partner and how well the forwards use the defenseman to move the puck out of their own end.
Ramsey will clear it, but it's kept in. Robinson, he dropped it back to Bobby Smith. He turns with Montreal in the power play. Here's Smith with it now. Giving it to Naslund. Back to Lemieux, long drive, and Pupa, the pad save, and the holds on to that with 2:06 remaining.
Now that is not the way the Montreal Canadiens want to set up the power play in that shot by Lemieux. There was nobody in front of Darren Pupa. As you look at the 6'3", 195-pounder from Kirkland Lake. But watch the front of the net. As you see the shot by Lemieux now in a situation like that, I'm sure that Coach Jean Perron is now Lemieux's heads to the bench, and Perron has a word with them. He wants him to hold the puck and slow it down and set something up. That is a useless play to just fire the puck on goal with no one standing in front of the goaltender.
Quebec continuing to lead Chicago 5-3. They're in the third period of that game at the Coliseum in Quebec City. And the Sabres have 4 games remaining following tonight's contest. They'll be at home tomorrow night against Edmonton, then into St. Louis on Thursday, and to play the Islanders on Saturday. Both those games will be on the WBEN radio network. That's from St. Louis Thursday, from Long Island Saturday, and then the next televised game here on Channel 2 will come your way a week from tomorrow night. Final game of the regular season against the Hartford Whalers, right here on TV2. unless the Raiders really have a collapse in the last week of play, they're going to finish first, but they have that 5-point lead over Montreal.
Now, the Canadiens are concerned about the Boston Bruins. The Bruins are just 1 point behind Montreal, and we all know how well the Bruins play at the Boston Garden, and the Canadiens desperately want that extra home game.
Foligno unable to get to it. Naslund takes over. Up for Brian Walter, dropping it back to Robinson. Here they come on the move now into the Buffalo zone. The power play is Naslund. Flipped it behind the net. Ruutu waiting for it. He could not clear it. Robinson now back in it goes. Off the skate of Richer, and Foligno tipped it between his legs and back into the Montreal zone.
You notice that Ted Sater with Christian Ruutu and Mike Foligno killing penalties, and the reason for that is he's looking for offense. He's looking for goals. Foligno normally does not kill penalties.
33 seconds left on the power play for the Canadiens. Naslund. Walter back for Naslund. Loose puck. Nyland to Naslund. Poopa. Sproul. They can score. On the rebound, Richer dropped it back, and it hit the sprawling Darren Poopa. Went into the Buffalo goal. The Canadiens lead 4-0.
Can you believe it? Boy, Darren Poopa has been victimized after making a sensational stop in front of the net. And Richer, like he did on the first goal, banks it in off the Buffalo goaltender. Watch this stop in front of the net by Darren Poopa as he dives across to rob Richer. And look at this. The puck hits him in the right pad and goes into the net. I mean, there's nothing you can do about something like that. That just is simply bad luck. Sensational stop by Poopa. And Richer gets his second bank shot from in behind the net.
Richer gets his 20th goal of the season, and the Canadiens have gone into a 4-0 lead. 1:18 remaining here in the second period. Coming up in the second intermission, a feature on rookie defenseman Sean Anderson of the Sabres, and also an NHL profile on the Montreal Canadiens. Now the puck back into the Buffalo zone. Sean Anderson is there. Al McPhee, Anderson behind the net. Skrudland after him, kicked out by Anderson. Anderson's lost his stick on the play, and he gloves it around the boards. McPhee in there with Ardeo. Anderson playing without a stick. Here's Mike Ramsey.
I'm just wondering if Sean Anderson hasn't injured his shoulder, Ted. He seems to be having some difficulty back there.
Yeah, looks like it. He's skating very cautiously. Now here's McPhee with a blast block. Kicked out, and now Anderson knocked it into the corner. Smith will touch it. Yeah, he appears to be favoring that left shoulder. And he's going to go to the Buffalo bench.
He's coming off a shoulder injury also. A separated shoulder that he suffered against the Philadelphia Flyers in Philadelphia. And he's favoring that same shoulder and heading directly to the dressing room.
Well, the Canadiens have gone into a comfortable 4-0 lead here with only 28 seconds remaining in this second period. 17 shots for Buffalo overall, 13 for the Montreal Canadiens.
Now you look at the Canadiens, they've scored 2 goals from behind the net. They've banked or knocked one out of the air. That was Richer. I mentioned he scored twice from behind the net. I was in error. It was Lemieux who scored the first one from behind the net. It was Richer who scored his first goal by knocking it out of the air, and his second one from behind the net.
Now Nyland to the Buffalo line with Carbonneau. Getting it back to Ludwig. In for Nyland again. Here's Gainey. Kicking it onto his stick to Ludwig. 5 seconds left in the period. Poopa blocks it. And there goes the siren to end the second period. Here at the Forum of Montreal, shots on goal in that period. Buffalo with a total of 5. And for Montreal, a total of 7. 17 for the Sabres, 13 for the Montreal Canadiens. And the score after 2 periods of play, Montreal 4, Buffalo nothing.
This is the Sabre Station, WGRZ TV2, Buffalo.
Ralph Milinetti of Milinetti Motor Sales has more models and more deals than you've had hot meals. George Shawn of Islington Toyota has got Toyotas up to his eyeballs, and he's making deals.
The Golden Bear of Georgetown Toyota has got all kinds of Toyotas coming out of his ears. You can bet he's making deals.
The fun guys are giving you more. Toyota. Around here they know my name. Neighbors and friends, not just the person next door. Around here we know our game. Play to win 'cause we're keeping score. And our beer around here is OB. OB, my friend. You know our beer around here is OB.
Around here, our beer is OB.
The 3/4 at Burger King with new Hot Toppers.
Well, they're hot, and they're called Hot Topper. 3 double cheeseburgers, they're a $1.25. You got a double desire. They're gonna put on the fire. There's barbecue sauce with cheese and bacon too. Tasty ham and cheese is sure to please, and you don't want to miss any mushroom and Swiss. But Hot Toppers won't last, so get to Burger King fast.
Hot Toppers, appearing for limited engagement.
We know how burgers should be.
The Sabres find themselves trailing the Montreal Canadiens 4-0 after 2 periods. The score is not really indicative of the game. It's a rather tight checking game. The Sabres with just 17 shots on goal after 2 periods. The Canadiens with only 13. 2 of the 4 goals have actually been scored from behind Darren Pupa. They were banked in. One went in off his skate. One went in off his pads. That power play goal by Richer late in the period, and one by Lemieux in the first period to start the scoring. That was early at about the 2:10 mark. So not good luck for Darren Pupa, as the Canadiens have taken advantage of 4 of the 13 shots they have received. Meanwhile, Brian Hayward is getting outstanding support in front. The Canadiens' smothering checking style is giving the Sabres very, very few scoring chances, little room to skate in, and as a result, they are behind 4-0 to the Montreal Canadiens, and Quebec, as you know, is winning in Chicago 5-3 after 2. Right now, let's pause for a look at tonight's NHL Profile.
NHL Profile is brought to you by your neighborhood Quick Fill stores and service stations. At Quick Fill, it's the convenience that counts. The Montreal Canadiens, members of the NHL since its inception in 1917, have been winning and setting records almost from the beginning. They've been in the playoffs a league best 61 times in their 69-year history and have the best series and games won-lost record. Other postseason marks include most Stanley Cup championships, 22, most final series appearances, 30, and the most consecutive Stanley Cup championships, final appearances, and playoff appearances. The great players of Montreal are numerous. Maurice and Henri Richard, Jean Beliveau, Yvon Cournoyer, Jacques Lemaire, Guy Lafleur, Ken Dryden, and Jacques Plante. All have their names mentioned prominently in the league record books. It would be difficult to name one team as the NHL's best ever, but perhaps the 1977 Canadiens fit that bill. They won 60 games, lost but 8, and finished the regular season with 132 points, all league records.
Super Quick, the gasoline of the future, is here now. Super Quick is a premium unleaded gasoline with 93.5 octane, the highest octane available. Super Quick gives your car more power and smoother performance. Super Quick cleans fuel injectors and keeps them clean. Super Quick. Get it now at your Quick Fill service station. It's super.
Fay's colorful new circular is chock full of so many popular items. Some people just can't wait to run on in.
Save now on Afrin 12-hour nasal spray, only $2.29. Clairol Quiet Touch hair painting and frost and tip kits are on sale too. And smooth, delicious Mon Cherie chocolate mini eggs are on sale, 4 for 99 cents.
Fay's not your average drugstore.
Obviously. Takes hours to boat a marlin. That's when you start wishing for some ice-cold Genesee beer. It's always crisp and consistent because it's brewed in just one place. Hey, catch a marlin and the Jenny's on us.
The great outdoors in a glass, Genesee beer.
The Jenny Light has not let me down at all. This tastes like a full-bodied beer. Regardless of whether it says light on the outside, I don't feel as if there's been any compromise in this beer at all.
Like many youngsters growing up in the Montreal area, young Sean Anderson was certainly a fan of the Montreal Canadiens, but Sean Anderson was drafted in the first round by the Buffalo Sabres last season, and he is one of the hopes for the future. Jim Lorentz caught up with Sean Anderson this week.
Last June, Sean Anderson was the 5th player taken in the entry draft. He was one of the stars at the Buffalo Sabres training camp. However, when the season began, Sean discovered that circumstances were quite different.
I didn't know what to expect, but I found out very quickly. In the preseason, I think things were too good to be true. I was getting points. I felt real comfortable out there. I was confident in myself. And then the regular season started, and I think all the good players that, you know, most of the teams would sit out and that they don't play because they're looking at guys for their team. And when the good guys came out and the Bossies and Gretzky's and guys like that came out, it was a different story. And I found it hard to adjust to.
It is imperative that an 18-year-old NHL defenseman receive plenty of ice time. At the start of the year, Sabre management decided Sean wasn't playing enough in Buffalo, and so sent him to the Rochester Americans.
I think I'd be crazy if I said I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed, but I was going to get a chance to play. Like I said, I wasn't playing for 2 months, and they said I'd go down there and I would play a lot, which I did. And then I came back just after Christmas, and I've been here ever since.
And ever since, Sean has been teamed with Mike Ramsey, an all-star in everybody's book.
He's meant a lot to my game. I don't know what I've meant to his game. You know, I guess it's hard playing with a rookie. And, you know, a guy that's not really sure and hasn't really been around long enough to know all the tricks. But he's really helped me out. He talks to me. If I do something wrong, he tells me, or if I come to the bench and he mentions something, well, we should do this when we're out there, it really helps me.
If you were to analyze your strongest assets, what would they be?
I like to rush the puck. I like to carry the puck. I think that's what hurt me in the beginning, is I got off my game and I was very worried about staying back and playing defensive hockey. And I got off that. So I think, you know, rushing the puck, what I'm starting to do a little more now, and being involved in the offensive zone, you know, is part of my game. You know, I think defensively I've got a long way to go, and, you know, I just have to work on that every game.
What are some of the dangers? Here you are, you're start of the year at 18 years old, you've turned 19, but suddenly you have a lot of money and a lot of people know you.
I like to learn about things. This money, the amount of money has never been in my mind. In the past, I've never seen this kind of money. I've got a good agent, so most of my money, when I get it, it's shipped off to him. But also, I'm involved with the investing in that, and you know, I ask some of the guys on the team, you know, what's good in that and what's bad, and something that the older guys always say is, you know, be very careful with your money, you know. And, you know, you go out there and you might buy a few things that you'd never had before, but I think I'm pretty sensible with my money.
What about hobbies? How does Sean Anderson relax?
You know, I'll go to a movie, or possibly to a shopping center or something like that. But I guess really to relax, I just like to sit at home and get ready for the next day of hockey.
Come home with me to Tennessee.
Come visit the home of the King, the home of the blues and world record fishing.
You ought to see the one that got away.
Welcome to Tennessee, a place that'll take you back in time to the days of Casey Jones, the Civil War, and long before.
Do polar bears grow in Tennessee?
They sure do, and ducks live in hotels.
Be sure you see Tops or Wentz milk carton side panels. You could win 4 red tickets to a Sabres home game, including dinner for 4 at the Odd Club. And best of all, you can win 2 season tickets in the Reds for all the Sabres 1987-88 home games. Mail in the side panels of Wentz or Tops half-gallon milk cartons. Send in as many as you wish. brought to you by Wentz, Tops Friendly Markets, and WGRZ TV2.
Second period highlights brought to you by Delta Sonic, where you can get any grade of gas with class, plus a great car wash.
Ed Kilgore, Jim Lawrence, and once again, it seems the Sabres need a couple of base hits and a long one to get back into it. 4-0 after 2, and again, as we mentioned, it's really not that kind of hockey game, but you have to give the Canadiens a lot of credit, Jim. They're working very hard, forechecking tenaciously. The Sabres don't seem to have any room to breathe.
No, they're relentless, and this is the way, as I mentioned during the play-by-play, that Montreal won the Stanley Cup last year. The same brand of hockey, and they have really got themselves into a role, and they're getting good goaltending from Hayward. He hasn't had a whole lot to do, and neither has Darren Pupa. Pupa has just been victimized with a lot of bad luck, I think is the only way to say it, because when you analyze the game up to this point as far as goal scoring is concerned, you find that the Canadiens really only one clean goal, and that was the goal by Naslund. Everything else is 2 goals from behind the net and 1 goal that was picked out of the air by Richer. And as one of the guys here said, he must have gotten up on the right side of the bed this morning.
That's for sure. Well, when your defense allows the Canadiens only 13 shots through 2 periods, you're not doing all that badly. Let's take a look now at one of the scoring chances for the Buffalo Sabres. Christian Ruutu had a pretty good chance here to the right of Hayward.
He did, and this puck is going to bounce a couple of times and go right onto the stick of Ruutu. And you see, watch Hayward. He's out of position, is able to move across, and he traps the puck between his right arm and his body, and you could see from the replay there that he actually looked back in. He thought the puck had gone into the net. He didn't know where it was, but that's the way things have been going for Buffalo. And of course, at the other end of the rink, it's a different story. Everything has been turning to gold for the Montreal Canadiens.
Has it ever? Let's take a look at the power play goal by Richer now, and a good example of what Jim's talking about.
Well, that's right, and Pupa makes a terrific stop on Richer, and you're going to see him. He's parked. He's waiting for the puck, and Pupa, with that long reach, dives across the net. And watch this. The puck goes into the corner or just backhanded out in front and hits his right pad and goes in behind him. And, I mean, as a goaltender, there's nothing you can do about a situation like that. Lemieux scored the opening goal of the game from behind the net. Also, on a play that obviously Darren Pupa wished he would have been able to replay. But in that particular goal, there was nothing he can do.
So the Sabres, as a result, find themselves trailing 4-0, and to compound matters, Quebec leading right now by 2 goals against Chicago after 2 periods. So starting to look bleaker and bleaker at this point.
As they say, the rope is beginning to tighten without question. No, that's right. I mean, from the Sabres standpoint, hey, the 20 minutes, just go out and do your best and see what will happen.
Well, that's for sure. We're going to see that here in Montreal coming up right after this.
If your car's running rough or not getting peak performance, then it's time for 89 Octane Unleaded Plus, only from Delta Sonic. Unleaded Plus is a blend of pure premium with unleaded. It'll give your car better mileage, and it's priced low, too. Probably less than what you're paying now for 87 Octane. Get gas with class at Delta Sonic and kiss high prices goodbye.
We asked dairymen going after quackgrass with 2 or more pounds of atrazine how to improve on it.
Then we developed New Ranger for emerged quackgrass. Unlike 2 or more pounds of atrazine used in any one of these 3 corn years, Ranger won't carry over to reduce stands and yield. And Ranger kills quackgrass, tops and roots, so control lasts all season. That means tonnage and yield can increase with Ranger compared to high rates of atrazine for quackgrass.
New Ranger, full season quackgrass control without carryover.
Hey, look, Susan, first photos of you and me together.
Oh, let's see.
Now, wait your turn.
I thought it was you and me together, Rich.
That's only at 5 and 11, Susan.
Oh, fine.
These are great. Hey, guys, where do you see these?
I'm still waiting.
Okay, you can see them.
Never mind, I don't care.
You don't?
No.
Of course you care. You always have to be first.
And I am. When you took the pictures, I took your lead story.
You what?
Join me and Rich on News Center 2 at 5 and 11 when I'll have the lead story.
Trade you?
This portion of Buffalo Sabres hockey is brought to you by your Good Neighbor Chevy dealers, where you get more than you bargained for. and by City Mattress. There's a brand new feeling. City Mattress waterbeds.
Ted Darling back at the Forum at Montreal. Canadiens lead 4-0. 1 goal in that second period. Richer is second of the night, his 20th of the year. From Naslund and Nyland at 18:42. Shots on goal in that period. Buffalo 5, Montreal 7. Buffalo 17 overall. Canadiens 13. Our next televised game in TV2 will come your way Sunday, April the 5th. The Hartford Whalers travel to Memorial Auditorium to meet the Sabres. Game time from the Odd will be 7 o'clock right here on TV2, the Sabres station. Canadiens holding on to this 4-0 lead and a chance to pick up ground on the Hartford Whalers. Play is underway here in the third period. Hartford, though, leading Pittsburgh 5-4 in that game. In Hartford, and the puck comes into the Montreal zone. Naslund into behind the net. He drops it back now for Green. Up for Skrudland. Off the boards, McPhee takes over. Here he comes to center. Now the pass on the right side to Naslund. Moves into the corner. Ramsey goes after it. Comes to the side of the net, and Curvers will pick it up. Now Gillies took a whack at Skrudland as they came back up the ice. Now Gillies at center. Now Skrudland takes a shot at Curvers. Here's Priestley keeping it in for Buffalo. Behind the net is Napier. Backhand drive blocked by Hayward. Recovered by Lawler. Now Lawler. Andrechuk trying to get in after it. Hit the back of the net. Skrudland has it. He'll just clear it the length of the ice into the Buffalo zone. And Ricci will go back after it, and the Canadiens will be called for icing.
There's really a good smart play there by Skrudland. He looked up. He saw both wings were covered. It wasn't a good way to move the puck out of his own end. The Canadiens were unorganized, so he just iced it. And that's exactly what the coach wants you to do. If you're not sure, just shoot it down, get a face-off, and regroup.
Well, Darren Pupa called up for this game tonight. Jacques Luce is the backup goaltender. Tom Barrasso made the trip. I have a report. Now, I don't know whether it's true or not, but apparently when Barrasso found out that he was not going to dress, he'd left the hotel and jumped into a cab, and he was not around before the game. And whether or not he decided to take a plane home back to Buffalo, I don't know. But
now, obviously, when you bring Darren Pupa up like this, it's not going to sit too well with the two goaltenders, and it's a tough position for Darren Pupa to be in. Not only simply to play the game under enormous pressure, but you know darn well that there's going to be some players who aren't happy about it.
Andrechuk unable to get a shot. Now Gainey. Pass over the line. Nyland at center to the Buffalo blue line. Winds up with the drive, and he blasted that one off the glass in front to Gainey, but he was checked from behind by Housley. Polino. Pass too far. Now Robinson gets to the back into the Buffalo zone. Here's Carbonneau to Nyland right in front on alone. And Pupa got the blocker on that one with Ruutu sending it back to center. Robinson through to Carbonneau. Picked out by Ruutu to the Montreal line. There's his shot. That one went all the way up into the private boxes here. That's way up into the... This is Sabres hockey on TV2.
Listen to the heartbeat.
Chevrolet announces the biggest savings program ever on S10 compact pickups and Blazers. Special 3.9% financing, or up to $600 back. Plus, Chevy has made it possible for dealers to pass on savings of up to $750 on options. And with certain specially equipped trucks, you could save up to $2,095.
Do it your way and do it for a lot less at your good neighbor Chevy dealer.
Darren Pupa, Ted, just moments ago robbing Nyland on a breakaway. And here's a look at it. That's Pupa as Nyland tries to go to the stick side, but good goaltending by Darren Pupa in that Buffalo net.
Now Lemieux at center. Checked by Ramsey. Chelios. Now giving it to Gingras. Up to Brian Walter. Flips it up now to Bobby Smith to the Buffalo line. The big shot. Pupa the save. The rebound sitting there. Curvers will clear it to the far boards. Korn at the line, and he sends it on into the Canadian zone to Gingras. They'll go back after it, and Buffalo is called for icing with 17:48 now remaining here in this third period.
As we look at Gaston Gingras from Temiskaming, Quebec. He was traded back to the Montreal Canadiens in February of '85 after playing with the Toronto Maple Leafs for Larry Langdon. And Gingras
primarily noted for his offensive skills, but he has played well defensively for Montreal this year. They used to always knock him because he wasn't good defensively. He could always score a lot of points from that point position, but they said he wasn't very good in his own zone. Well, he's certainly turned that around, and if you're not good defensively, you're not going to play for Jean Perron.
Face off in the Buffalo zone into the left of Pupa. Smith against Bridges. Bridges wins the draw. Now Curvers. Bumped in there by Lemieux. Bobby Smith trying to get it free. Curvers round the boards. Back to Gingras with a drive that goes wide. Lemieux. Creighton in the fireboards. And now Bridges tips it off the boards to center. Ryan Walter going to get it back into Gingras. Mikael Anderson after him. Now Chelios. Here's Creighton to keep it in. Now Creighton behind the net. Swings it to the goal crease. Now Curvers attempting to keep it in. It's into the corner. Now Adam Creighton still with it, turning to get away from Chelios. Chelios to try to hold it to the boards. Creighton trying to dig it free, and he does. He pops it to the far side. At the same time, knock down Chelios. Owsley breaks it up. Bobby Smith is there for Montreal. Now Gingras turns back in behind his own net. Sends it up on that right side to Lemieux. He broke his stick as he shot it into the Buffalo zone. Owsley turns to get away from Momesso. Now Dykstra with it. Pass blocked by Corson. Corson hit by Owsley. Here's Corson after the loose puck going right in on goal. Unable to get the shot. He was bothered from behind by Owsley. Corson with it again. Now taken by Richer. He's looking for the hat trick tonight. Tried to send it back to the blue line. And Lawler. Hit there by Napier. It's tipped back to center ice. Priestley will fire it into the Montreal zone. 4 minutes have gone by in the third period. 4-0. Montreal leading. Corson gets it off the boards and now gives it to Andrechuk. Got it off free. Now it comes to Momesso. Backhanding it into the Sabres zone. Ramsey. Up it comes to Foligno. Now to Ludwig. Gives it to Robinson. To Nyland. Carbonneau. Now Nyland again at center. Blocked Ramsey. Backhanding it in but off Ludwig. And he'll just tip it back into the Buffalo zone. Ramsey with Carbonneau. They go deep into the corner. Ramsey takes Carbonneau to the boards. Holds him there. That allows Ricky now. Foligno up to his own to blue line. Now to center. The long pass off the skate of Gainey.
That was a good play there by Joe Ricky. Everyone expected him to go to the strong side of the ice, but he backhanded it around the near boards, and the Sabres moved easily out of their own zone. Good heads-up play.
Now Darren Pupa giving it to Foligno. Here's the pass, comes back to center. Robinson. He'll clear it to Ludwig. Robinson in Buffalo makes a change. Korn steps on. Here's Ruutu. In over the line. He'll try to break this shutout bid that Hayward has going at the moment. Korn along the boards, knocks it into the corner. He's got Foligno in front. Unable to get it in front of the net. Here's Korn with a drive, and Hayward knocked that one away. Now Ruutu. Ludwig. Here's Dykstra waiting for it back at the point to keep it in. Now behind the net is Korn. Foligno moving into the corner, comes up with it, and it's deflected back over the Montreal blue line.
You see, after all that work by the Sabres, just one shot, and that was a long one that Hayward had no trouble.
Ruutu, the shot that's rebound, go to the corner. Robinson will clear it. Now Naslund tips it to McPhee. Blocked there by Housley, kept inside the line. Ludwig, here's the pass, almost hit Naslund to send him away at a breakaway. Kept in by the Canadiens, comes back to the line, and now Scott Arniel at center. Into the Canadian zone, still with it, trying to get in. Here's Arniel backhanding at the drive. He scores! Doug Smith, but a fine play set up by Scott Arniel. And the Sabres get on the scoreboard as Arniel gets his 12th goal of the year.
Now, it was Doug Smith who banged it in front of the net, but Scotty Arniel made the play. But I talked about Gaston Gingras playing well defensively. Well, Arniel makes him look rather bad on that one.
And you see Arneal just sliding it across to Doug Smith, that right-handed shot, and he was faced towards the net. And he puts Buffalo on the board, but a fine individual effort by Scott Arneal to go around Gingras. And as he's falling down to the ice, he puts it in front to Doug Smith.
Doug Smith raises his total in the Delta Sonic Pucker Power fundraising program for charities to $625 to the Arthritis Foundation. And it's a 4-1 score. Now Walter getting it back. Gingras giving it to Ryan Walter at center. Sends it into the Buffalo zone. Riki getting it off the boards. Priestley will go back after it. He dumped it back. Gives it to Riki. Up it comes to Napier. Gingras after him, but he sends it into the Canadian zone. 13 minutes remaining to play in the third period. Chelios' pass up to Ryan Walter. Head to the line. The right wing pass too far for Lemieux. Riki off the boards for Priestley. Here's the long pass now to Napier into the Canadian zone against Gingras. Napier one-handed in front of the net, but Chelios is there to take it away. Over the blue line to center. Leads the rush into the Buffalo zone. Flipped it behind the net. Pupa. Now Ramsey. Giving it to Andrechuk. Head over the line to Foligno. Up to the Montreal line. Here's Foligno. Fakes the shot. Still has it now. Works it over for Andrechuk, but it hopped over the blade of his stick, and the Canadians recover in their own zone with Green. Tipping it now for Lawler. Here they come with Lemieux and Momesso. Pupa will play it up to Foligno. Rutu lost it off the blade of his stick. It comes back into the Buffalo zone with Ramsey. Knocking it through to Foligno. Slaps it in out of the Montreal zone. Buffalo will make a player change as Nyland has it behind the net. Andrechuk chasing him. Loose puck. Lawler now takes over. Round the boards. Dykstra cuts it off and keeps it in for Buffalo. Lawler again. Dykstra kicked at it again to keep it in. Here now is Creighton on the backhand. The save, the rebound. Recovered by Momesso as Adam Creighton with an opportunity there. But he was stopped by Hayward in the backhand shot. Here comes Carbonneau at center with Nyland and Momesso. Giving it to Momesso. Nyland can't get to it. Housley flips it up to a breaking Andrechuk at center. As with them Bridges into the Montreal zone. Stops. Here's the pass right in front. Housley, the drive. He scores! Phil Housley wrapped it in off a sprawling Brian Hayward. Don't go away. 11:22 remaining in the third. It's 4-2 Montreal.
Now Brian Hayward rather upset with himself. He thought that he had stopped Phil Housley as the Sabres mount a comeback here in the third period. Andrechuk just threw it in front of the net, and Housley, as he does so well, follows up the play. And you saw Hayward, he tried to, or he had the pads spread apart and tried to scissor them back, but the puck hit them and went into the net behind him, and the Sabres make it interesting. Hayward got a part of it, or got a piece of that puck, but he was unable to stop it from going across the line. But boy, a good alert play by Housley to jump up front, and that's what you need when you're trailing in a hockey game, for those defensemen to become involved.
Housley gets his 20th goal of the season, 101st of his NHL career. Now the Sabres come back. Arneal had to wait for Mikael Anderson to come onside. Back to Ramsey, drives it right back into the Montreal zone. Ludwig. Now Robinson giving it to Ludwig. Works it up to the line, over the line. Curvers. He sends it now to Mikael Anderson. Mikael slips it through, comes back to Anderson, into the corner now to Smith. Now to Arneal, and he took a whack at it, and Gainey will take it for the Canadiens, and he slides it back into the Buffalo zone. With 10:39 remaining in the third period. 4-2 Montreal leading. Buffalo coming back with 2 goals here in the third. Now Gingras getting back to center. Curvers slaps it around the boards. Hayward now for Chelios. Napier comes up with it. Here's Napier giving it to Priestley. He can't get the shot. Go to the corner with Corson. Knocked it behind the Montreal net. Loose puck into the corner. Gillies in after it. McPhee's there. Now Gingras comes right in front of the net, and Chelios is there. And the Canadiens start to come back. Blocked at the Montreal blue line. Now Corson back in. It goes to Chelios. Gingras. Here's the pass. Knocked back into the Montreal zone. Could it be a delayed offside coming up here? It is. 4-2 Montreal. This is Sabres hockey on TV2. Face off over the Montreal line. Here's Ramsey sending it in. Glove down by Ludwig. Got it knocked off his stick by Foligno. Now Robinson right through his own goal crease. And Gainey will tip it on and back into the Sabres zone. Ramsey's pass to Foligno. It'll come back to the Canadiens line. Ruutu trying to get to it. Now taken by Chris Nyland. Waits, gives it to Gainey. Here's his shot. Pupa the save. Now Curver's in behind the net. He steps away with it. Comes up to the Buffalo line. Now sends it to the right side to Andrechuk. Andrechuk has stopped to the Montreal line, but Foligno's there. Can't get it in. Ramsey. Ruutu. Now Dykstra.
Now this is a time of game, Ted, talking about this at the beginning of the hockey game, where you look to your goal scorers to get you a goal. Now you have two guys, Doug Smith and Housley, a defenseman. But now you look to a guy like Andrechuk and Foligno.
Here they come. McPhee overskated the puck. Naslund had it for a moment. Now it'll come back in with a Housley. Watched by Skrudland. Now gives it to Dykstra. McPhee hit on Dykstra. The pass to Housley. Here's the pass to Bridges. Goes through now to Creighton to the Montreal line. He is stopped just inside the line by Lawler. Sticks get up. Now Korn runs into. Here's Breaky. Korn ran into one of the Canadians, whether it's Skrudland. Tough to tell.
Yeah, I think Korn is going to be sent to the penalty box.
4-2 Montreal. This is Sabres Hockey on TV2.
Here are 4 different mattresses: twin, full, queen, or king size. Which one costs more? Well, this week at City Mattress, during our any size one price sale, the big one costs the same as the small one. Or choose a genuine brass bed in twin, full, queen, or king size. The big one costs the same as the small one. Or maybe you like to drift off to sleep. During our any size sale, a complete king size waterbed costs the same as a single. If you sleep.
And in Quebec, the Chicago Blackhawks have pulled within a goal of the Nordiques in the third period. As we pick up the action, Darryl Sutter will score for the Chicago Blackhawks. Oh, there he goes. Here it comes, Jim. We knew that eventually we would get this goal, so apparently that is a final, though. This was as close as the Blackhawks would get him. The Nordiques temporarily move 5 points ahead of the Sabres, so the Sabres certainly have their work cut out for them.
Now they do now, particularly as Jim Korn is the only player sitting in the penalty box, so just a bad penalty to take. I mean, you're 2 goals behind. There's 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go. You have the momentum going, and you take a penalty.
Now it comes to the Buffalo line. Lemieux shooting. Here's Naslund with it to keep it in for Montreal. Canadiens on the power play. Lemieux for Bobby Smith goes through to Naslund. Here it comes to Shangro, and he couldn't get a good shot, but there's Smith with a backhand drive, but Pupa makes the save. Not a Bobby Smith. 4-2 Montreal. This is Sabres Hockey on TV2.
March 4th, 8 p.m. Administrative message from Division Headquarters. Extend $1,000 cashback offer from General Motors Corporation. Include all celebrities, 4 and 6 cylinder, all Camaros. Extend $750 on all Cavaliers, all Novas. Extend $500 on all Spectrums. Urgent, consummate all transactions before midnight, March 31st. Repeat stock must be reduced to 30-day level. End of message. Copy all Good Neighbor Chevy dealers.
Montreal on the power play. The drive. Pupa. Great pad save on Robinson. And then the puck comes back into the Montreal zone with exactly 8 minutes now remaining to play. 1:25 left in the Montreal power play, and Bobby Smith turns it at center. Come to the Buffalo line. Cleared it in, but it's went off the leg of Mike Ramsey. Come through now to Arneal. Into the Montreal zone. Kicked out. Here's Smith in there as well. Now Robinson. Canadiens with a 2-goal lead. And 7:34 left to play in the third period. Naslund at center ice. He'll shoot it in. Pupa reflecting it into the corner for Ramsey, and he just fires it back into the Montreal zone. 50 seconds, and Korn will come back onto the ice. Robinson. Right back to the Buffalo line. Tipped away by Kerber. Now Gengron will shoot it in. Pupa. He'll play it up off the boards and back into the Canadian zone.
You know, Ted, the one thing I've noticed about Bobby Smith that he does with the Canadiens that he didn't do with Minnesota is finish his check. I mean, he's running into everyone tonight. When the defenseman makes a pass or a forward, instead of turning away, he just bumps into him, and that's something he did not do with Minnesota.
Naslund back to Robinson, back to Naslund, back to Robinson. Here it goes over to Richer. The pass in front of Walter shoots. He scores! Ryan Walter with 6:44 to go. Ryan Walter, goal number 21 of the season. A power play goal. It's 5-2.
Now, Ryan Walter, that's his 6th goal in the last 5 games. And he is free in the slot. And watch Darren Pupa on this. He will actually commit himself. You move the pad right there, and the puck goes in between his legs, as he thought that puck was going to slide across to the far side. Here's a better shot. Now watch, as you see Pupa starting to move across. Walter takes the pass and just holds on momentarily, and then dumps it right between the legs.
And as Ed mentioned earlier, Quebec defeating Chicago 5-4. It appears the Nordiques will go into a 5-point lead with 4 games remaining for each team. Now the Canadiens, Carbonneau at center to the Buffalo line. Lets the drive go. Pupa makes the save. Now Andreychuk. Head to Foligno, but it's recovered by looks like Housley and Carbonneau will be going to the penalty box, or perhaps just Carbonneau. Sabres hockey on TV2.
Here are 4 different mattresses: twin, full, queen, or king size. Which one costs more? Well, this week at City Mattress, during our any size one price sale, the big one costs the same as the small one. Or choose a genuine brass bed in twin, full, queen, or king size. The big one costs the same as the small one. Or maybe you like to drift off to sleep. During our any size sale, a complete king size waterbed costs the same as a single. If you sleep.
That's Guy Carbonneau, Ted, the only penalty called as he goes for, I guess it was high sticking. I didn't pick up the French translation, but I understand it, Jim.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it was high sticking then.
That's because he heard it in English too. And it's a 5-2 score. Montreal leading Buffalo, going to the power play with Carbonneau in the penalty box. Now Smith is in behind the net. Sends it up in the left side, but too far for Ruutu. Now Chelios. Recovered by Andreychuk. Has it at center. Now steps to the Montreal line. Here he goes, trying to get in, gives it to Smith. Knocked away by Hayward. Here's Smith behind the net, gives it to Ruutu. Ruutu. Andreychuk's in front of the net. Comes back to Ruutu. Back in now where Andreychuk is there. And he lost it. Now Green will clear it. Blocked, and Foligno comes up with it. Now Andreychuk. Still with it. Left it there at the point for Smith. Ruutu back to Smith. Long drive. Rebound. Oh, Foligno took a whack at it and missed it. Housley keeps it in at the left point. To the right side to Smith. Shooting. Right on the rebound. Where is it? He scores. Andreychuk on the rebound. Canadiens are complaining, but it's a 5-3 score. And wow, if the Canadiens hadn't scored that 5th one, it would have been a real close one, with still 5:22 remaining here in the 3rd period.
Now what the Canadiens are arguing about, Ted, was Mike Foligno gloved the puck down in front of the net, and they're saying that it should have been a whistle because the puck went to Andreychuk. Here it is on the replay. Now the puck goes up in the air, and right there, the puck is gloved down by Mike Foligno.
Yeah, but it hit somebody.
Oh, sure it did. I mean, they don't have an argument, but that's what they're arguing about. And Andreychuk picks up the loose puck and fires it into the net. Look at the puck wobbling around as Smith let it go, and Hayward unable to control the rebound. And Andreychuk pokes it free and puts the Sabres to within 2 with 5:22 left.
And Andreychuk scores his 24th goal of the year.
Sabres goal is 24th of the year, scored by number 25.
Now the Sabres back to within 2 as Gillies flips it back into the Montreal zone. Exactly 5 minutes remaining to play in the 3rd period. Ludwig into the corner. Now picked up by Napier for Gillies, but it's intercepted. Here comes Lawler. Back with Sprudlin. to Naslund. Racing in quickly. Puts it right in front. Adam McPhee took a whack at it and missed it. Now Gillies at the line. Lost it. Naslund comes to the line. Here's Gillies trying to get it back. Gillies comes up with it. Priestley. 5-3. Montreal leading. Priestley to center. Backhanding it high into the air. Buffalo will make a change. Hughes. Bridges coming on along with Mikael Anderson. Now Anderson turning inside the line. Giving it to Ricci. He flipped it to the Montreal line. Now Lemieux trying to come back. Walters there. Kicks it in over the line. Lemieux, the pass to Smith in front of the net. And he was taken out of the play. Ricci clearing it through now for Mikael Anderson. Ahead to Bridges. Bridges moving in. Had it knocked off his stick by Robinson. He'll clear it up. Comes back over the line. Ricci backs up. Goes into the bench area. Sean Anderson has apparently gone to the dressing room, so he did injure his shoulder. Sabres hockey at TV2. 3 minutes 45 seconds remaining in this third period with the Canadiens up by a pair of goals. Kervers bumped into the corner by Carbonneau. Ruutu attempts to clear. Now Andrechuk is there against Nyland. Steps back to center ice with Foligno to the Montreal line. His pass knocked away. Carbonneau breaks to the Nyland on his right. Carbonneau to Nyland, but a good save by Kervers. Then lost it back to Carbonneau. To the line to Ludwig, the drive. Ruutu knocked it away. Pupa sprawls on it as Ruutu, in trying to clear the puck, broke his stick. Then the puck trickled into the goal crease, and Pupa managed to fall on it. Nyland's in there.
And it was Carbonneau who threw the puck out from the corner back to Ludwig. Here it is here now. He doesn't waste any time, and watch the stick of Christian Ruutu will just shatter, at least towards the end. And good reaction by Darren Pupa.
There's Mike Foligno tied up with Bob Gainey. Now Ricci and Nyland still having some words. The linesman Randy Mitten stepping in between them.
Now Gainey back in the lineup. He missed the last 4 games because of a groin injury. As you look at the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. And what a fine player he has been over the years for Montreal. Just one of the best defensive players, I think, ever to play the game.
3 minutes 18 seconds remaining here in this third period. Well, Jim, coming up on May the 18th, we'll be down in Wellsville for the Special Olympics golf tournament. I know that's always a great day. That'll be my 3rd appearance down there. Looking forward to it. And they've even asked me to be a master of ceremony, so it's going to be a great day.
Well, it sure is. And, of course, all of the top club pros from out in New York State will be competing for a lot of prize money for the club pros. And all proceeds go to the Special Olympics, and that is such a worthy cause. And anybody having the day off or want something to do, have a good time, come on down to Wellsville on May the 18th.
Great golf course they have there. Long shot, and Pupa clears it. Comes back to the line. Here's Napier over the Buffalo blue line at center and out of the Montreal line, clearing it in off the boards. Kelios. Round it comes, taken by Korn. Korn lets it go. Knocked down in front. And with 2:55 remaining in the third, the long pass to Riche, but it's a 2-line pass. 5-3 Montreal.
See all the new fishing tackle and learn from experts at the Great Lakes Fishing and Outdoor Exposition, Buffalo Convention Center, March 25th through the 29th.
2 minutes 52 seconds remaining in the third period. 5-3 Montreal. Well, coming up on April the 5th, that's a week from tomorrow night, 11:30. It'll be Ed and the boys as we return Jim and the half hour of fun and frolic.
Yeah, the round
30 and
the round table. We have all our fearless predictions for the Stanley Cup playoffs and give our reasons why the Sabres do or didn't make the playoffs, I guess.
If they don't make the playoffs.
Do or didn't. Boy.
Hard to say what's going to happen this week, but that'll be Ed and the boys coming up at 11:30. Week from tomorrow night. That's April the 5th. Here's Housley at his own line. Threw it out of Gillies. It'll come back into the Montreal zone. Now Green. Head too far for Naslund. Dykstra giving it to Housley. At center, Creighton comes away with it now for Gillies. Here's Gillies trying to move it in. It goes to Dykstra, and he slaps it into the Montreal zone.
I'll be looking at Darren Pupa to see if he makes his way to that Buffalo bench. Ted Sater's not afraid to pull his goaltenders.
Daslin, 3-on-2 situation for Montreal, but the pass goes too far for McPhee. He picks it up, drops it back. Now Napier turns back up the ice with Creighton on his left to the Montreal line. Napier into the corner. Creighton's in front. There's the shot. Hayward makes the save, and he just holds his ground there. Stays on his skates.
Now that's the key, Ted, staying on his skates and holding his ground. And Mark Napier had 2 terrific years here with the Montreal Canadiens, back-to-back 40-goal years. And Brian Hayward just takes one away from him. Napier has a good outside speed. Look at that as he faked to go to the inside and continued on around the Montreal defenseman Mike Lawler. And Brian Hayward just stood his ground. And Napier ended up shooting the puck right into his chest protector. That was a fine piece of goaltending.
And the draw, here it comes back now to the point to Kerpers to the far side, but Ramsey could not get it. Now Robinson is there. It'll come back now. Taken by Ramsey. Quick drive. It tipped away into the corner. Gainey working it back to center. Here's Nyland with Andrechuk back to Carbonneau. Ramsey has it with 1:43 remaining. At center now to the Montreal line. Gainey goes after it. He clears it high into the air and back into the Buffalo zone. Mike Ramsey has it now, gives it to Kerpers. With the pass for Ruutu. Head to Foligno at center, 1:20 remaining. Shot back into the Montreal zone. Up off the right wing boards and out Island. Bumped by Riki. It's taken by Mikael Anderson. Now giving it to Doug Smith. Loose puck taken by Bobby Smith. 1 minute remaining here in this third period.
Barry Smith continues to signal to Darren Pupa, but Pupa can't get out of the net. Buffalo unable to penetrate deep into the Montreal zone. But you can bet as soon as the Sabres move up the ice, he's going to head to the bench.
Well, he still can't get to the bench. It appears the Sabres will fall 5 points back of the Quebec Nordiques. Both teams will have 4 games remaining. Pupa remains in the goal. Here's Bryant Walter. Getting it back to Chelios. 35 seconds to go. Riki ahead to Smith to the Montreal line. There goes Pupa to the bench. But just 23 seconds remaining. Open net. Here goes Lemieux. He's got an open net. Right in on goal. He scores. With 14 seconds to go, the Montreal Canadiens will win their 5th game in a row, move to within 3 points of the Hartford Whalers, and they'll go back into a 3-point lead over the third-place Boston Bruins.
Now the Canadiens bent a little bit here in the third period, but they certainly did not break. The Sabres were able to pull to within 2 goals of Montreal, and that was it. As Claude Lemieux scores.
I just want to remind fans that the Police Athletic League selling up for blues and oranges for $8.50 to the Hartford game. That's the last game of the season, a week from tomorrow night. Call the Police Athletic League for more information. The most blues and oranges going for $8.50 each. 10 seconds left to play. The Canadiens will finish the season series against Buffalo. 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. With 2 seconds remaining, that's it. The Buffalo Sabres lose here to the Montreal Canadiens 6-3. Quebec Nordiques edging the Chicago Blackhawks 5-4. The Sabres now 5 points back of Quebec. Both teams have just 4 games remaining on the regular season. 29 shots on goal for the Buffalo Sabres, 24 for the Montreal Canadiens. So the final score, Montreal 6, the Buffalo Sabres 3.
This is the Sabre Station, WGRZ TV2, Buffalo.
A great name in beer should be the start of a truly great-tasting light beer. But it took more than a heritage of taste. It took time to get it just right. Now it's here. Introducing OV Light. With the great OV taste you'd expect from a fine brewing tradition. New OV Light. A great taste in beer comes to light.
It's McCain Light Delight for your main course tonight. And we didn't just make it light. We also made it right.
Anybody can cut the calories in a meal by cutting out a lot of the tasty food. The McCain Light Delight way of doing things is to keep in all the good-tasting food by carefully measuring the calories in each nourishing main course and still be under 300 calories.
McCain Light Delight, we didn't just make it light. McCain Light Delight, we made it just right.
Well, the Sabres still officially alive in the race for the playoffs, but barely, as they lose tonight to the Montreal Canadiens here in Montreal 6-3, while Chicago is losing in Quebec 5-4, so it's now a 5-point lead for Quebec with just 4 games remaining. That means any combination of 2, a couple Sabres losses, 2 Quebec wins, or 1 of each, and the Quebec Nordiques will edge out the Buffalo Sabres for that 4th and final playoff spot in the Adams division. The Sabres falling behind very quickly in this one as Darren Pupa made a mistake behind his own net, and Claude Lemieux scored, and that seemed to be the way it went tonight for the Sabres. They fell behind 2-0 after 1, 3-0, and then 4-0 before the Sabres finally started a bit of a comeback. They made it 4-2, and then the Canadiens made it 5-2, and it wound up 6-3 as the Canadiens scored into the empty net. The Sabres did outshoot Montreal 29-24, but they wind up on the short end of the stick, as it were. So we hope you'll join us for our final televised game here on TV2. That'll come your way. It'll be the last regularly scheduled game of the season, and that'll be against the Hartford Whalers on Sunday, April 5th. As the Whalers travel to Memorial Odd to meet the Sabres, game time from the Odd will be 7 o'clock. That's Sunday, April 5th. That final score once again here from the Forum in Montreal, the Montreal Canadiens 6 and the Buffalo Sabres 3. Tonight's Buffalo Sabres telecast was produced by Michael Vetter. Our director was Michelle Kitos. Studio producer was Bob Cleaver. Technical director was Robert Cannell. Electronic graphics by